welcome back to Tampa, Florida. And, Boomer, this has been reunion week in the NFL. Mike Holmgren of Seattle returning to Green Bay. Detroit, Steve Mariucci facing the 49ers, Emmitt Smith back in Dallas. Long day for Emmitt. And now here is Tony Dungy back in Tampa.
Well, those previous three guys all lost yesterday, and Tony Dungy is going to try to buck that trend here tonight. And you know what he did, Marv? He went out in the offseason and he said, we got to make this defensive team that we have here faster. We got to make them more agile. We got to get our younger players to understand the concept. He has simplified it. But you know what they don't have on defense? They don't have a defensive player of the year type of player over there. And that's what the Buccaneers have. They have Derek Brooks, the fastest linebacker in football. Many would debate whether or not he's as good as Ray Lewis, but they play a different position. Derek Brooks is an outside, weak side linebacker and has the freedom to roam and to chase guys down from behind from his weak side position, as opposed to being in the middle and taking on fullbacks and also offensive linemen. So Derek Brooks is the key to that defense for the Buccaneers. He's a tackling machine, and that's somebody who Tony Dungy wished he had on his sideline tonight. I can guarantee you that.
Well, Tampa Bay has won the toss. They will receive Mike Vanderjagt, getting set to kick it off for the Colts. A very busy guy last Sunday night against the Saints. He was called on to kick 19 times. 10 kickoffs, 2 field goals, 7 extra points. Thomas Jones, Aaron Stecker are back. And here is the kick, played by Stecker at the 3. He's to the 10, angles to the right, to the 20, gets the block, out across the 25 to the 29-yard line. He went for 26. Jim Nelson, backup linebacker, able to make the tackle. And Brad Johnson and the Tampa Bay Bucks to the offense. Roman Oben, Kenyatta Walker at the tackles. Cozy Coleman, Jason Whittle are at the guards. And the center is John Wade. Brad Johnson in his 12th season out of Florida State. He has Michael Pittman and Mike Allstott on the backfield. They're lined up in the eye. They start out from the 29. They're going from left to right here at the start. And here's the give to Pittman off the left side. Reaches out to the 30-yard line.
I'm really looking forward to watching this Colts defense. Now, they are modeled after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, we've said that from the start. And one of the reasons being is because they're smaller and quicker as we watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now go to their 2-minute no-huddle offense.
Yes, they're in the hurry-up. 2nd down and 9 at the 30. Johnson takes. He's back to throw. Faces pressure. Incomplete to Allstott over the middle. Looks to be shy of a first down. Went for 8. Raheem Brock, the left defensive end, making the tackle on Mike Allstott, who, as John Dockery was telling us just moments ago, was a question mark for tonight because of that sore neck.
And Marv, Raheem Brock is a left defensive end. As you said, he made the tackle down the field. That means the Colts were fire zoning, where they were dropping a defensive line off and blitzing away from him. So Brad Johnson seeing that and finding the open receiver.
3rd and 1, out of the eye, the handoff to Allstott. He dives off left guard, looking for the marker. Let's see where they spot it. Mike Doss, the strong safety.
Oh, what a nice credit. And what a nice play by Doss. He actually hit Allstott behind the line of scrimmage, and this is close enough to warrant a measurement by the officials as Johnny Greer, referee, stops the clock, and he's going to take a look at this. But what a play by Mike Doss, who is the rookie out of Ohio State, the strong safety. We were talking to Ted Marchibroda, the old-time coach of the Colts, who does their radio, and he was telling me what a nice addition he has been to this team, and they have allowed them to do so many more things now because of his athleticism and his ability to make the tackles the way he just did there.
And you can hear from the reaction from this crowd, the Bucks pick up the first down. It's a first down at the 40-yard line. Mike Doss has brought a physical presence to the secondary, second-round draft pick, as you mentioned, a Buckeye. Michael Pittman and Mike Allstott now back in the Tampa Bay backfield. They line up in the eye. Johnson changing the play at the line. Signals being called. Now Johnson takes. Here's the pitch to Pittman. Looks to turn the corner. He does, but a short pickup getting out to the 43. David Thornton, the right linebacker. And the Colts' leading tackler able to make the stop. Thornton, the guy who replaced Mike Peterson, who left for the Jaguars.
Brad Johnson doing his best Peyton Manning imitation, keeping his guys at the line of scrimmage, changing plays and moving around. And they go right back to the no-huddle offense once again.
Staggered eyes, second down and 6. Johnson with the play fake. Now looks to throw. He does. Short range has Pittman out at the 45, but he's dropped immediately. Running to his left, Michael Pittman stopped by the combination of Rob Morris and David Thornton at advance of 3.
And Monty Rieger, he was a pickup in the offseason, unrestricted free agent out of Denver. He's inside at one of those inside defensive tackles. Got back to Brad Johnson. I'll tell you, the pressure that the Colts have been putting on thus far, impressive. Now, it's going to be a big third down. Now, they've actually held them here, and, the Buccaneers are just making every little play just to give themselves an opportunity for a first down.
It's a third and about 3 with Pittman and Allstott in the backfield. Johnson to throw. Johnson rifles it out of midfield. It is dropped by the tight end, Ken Dilger, the one-time Indianapolis Colt. Ken Dilger in his second season with Tampa Bay following 7 years with the Colts. So the Colts able to hold the Buccaneers on their first series.
Oh, that would have been a heck of a catch. Doss, that strong safety, the rookie out of Ohio State that we've been talking about, was right on Dilger's back pocket, and it took a great throw by Brad Johnson, but Doss was right there to break it up.
And Tom Tupa will punt from his 30. Brad Pyatt, rookie out of Northern Colorado, is back at his 10. Here's the snap. And the kick is a beauty by Tupa. Pyatt lets it bounce, and it carries into the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20. There is no score. We're early minutes. First quarter. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
1410 Wing AM. This is ESPN Radio.
Making a player of the week brought to you by Amtrak. And don't forget, at the end of the NFL season, we'll name the Amtrak Player of the Year. For reservations, visit Amtrak.com or call 1-800-USA-RAIL. All right, the Colts will start out from the 20. They'll open up with the double tight end alignment, Marcus Pollard, and the rookie Dallas Clark, who has been impressive. Ricky Williams, that's the other Ricky Williams, second-year man from Texas Tech, starting for the injured Edgerrin James. You can hear the crowd as Peyton Manning calls signal. Long count. Manning looking left, looking right. And now Ricky Williams comes over to have a conversation.
Everybody's having conversation.
And the handoff to Williams. Looks to turn the corner. He does. A short pickup. Moving to his right. Gets out to the 22-yard line. Anthony McFarland, the nose tackle, with the wraps on Williams. Tarek Glenn, Adam Meadows are at the tackles. Meadows playing for the injured Ryan Deem. Rick DeMulling and Steve Shulo at the guards. The center is Jeff Saturday as the Colts quickly move to the line. They have a second down and 8 at the 22 as we move from right to left here in this first quarter. Again, Manning looks it over. And again, a long count. Now he takes the snap and he guns it over the middle. It is caught by Marvin Harrison, but way short of a first down. About 3 on the play. Brian Kelly, the left corner there to make the stop.
Peyton Manning playing quarterback, is an interesting study because he stays at the line of scrimmage. He calls the plays at the line of scrimmage. He goes against what the defenses are doing. And our friend Mike Lupica, the columnist for the Daily News and also ESPN sports reporter, equated watching a football game with him playing quarterback to that of a golf match featuring Sergio Garcia.
Lots of time is taken. Lots of movement. Once again, Manning hearing it from the crowd as he changes the alignment out of the gun. He takes the snap, gets the protection, running to his right, and throws it away. Everyone was covered. The pass intended for Harrison at the far side at the marker. It's 3 and out for the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, it could just drive you crazy watching this because obviously he must be making the wrong calls. Either that or the defense is just too good. And remember, I told you the tool for victory for the Colts is going to be handling that defensive line. 2 plays that Peyton Manning dropped back to pass, and both of those plays he had pressure in his face.
All right, Hunter Smith, 5-year man from Notre Dame, getting set to kick it away to Carl Williams. Smith back at his 10. Williams at the 33. Here's the snap and the kick. It is a high end over end. Williams backpedals, makes the catch. It looked like he was going to call fair catch, did not, and he's dropped immediately back behind the 25. Nice punt, 49 yards. Cliff Crosby providing the coverage on Williams. It's the Colts nothing, the Bucs nothing. And Boomer and I will return to the Acura broadcast booth after this timeout. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Boomer, you all right?
I had the hiccups, Mark. I don't know where that came from. I went over to Fleming's for dinner, boy. I don't know what a great steak. But
I'll tell you what, another plug thrown in here. Why don't you hold your breath for about 4 minutes?
Oh, very nice, Mark. Thank you.
That usually works.
Yeah, that'll put me out all right. I'll do the best I can. I'm going to try to do the best I can. I want to give a good quality broadcast.
I do have a reminder the NFL celebrating 25 years in paradise. On Sunday, February 8th, 2004, top players from the AFC and NFC compete in the annual Pro Bowl. You can join the NFL in Hawaii for all the events. And as Boomer likes to say, you can enjoy the sun and the surf, too. For your official NFL All-Star Week travel package called Pleasant Holidays, 1-800-5-HAWAII, or go to PleasantHolidays.com to book your trip. Buccaneers will start out from the 26-yard line. Here's Johnson back to throw on first down. Looking to throw. He's hit from behind. He's able to unleash. Fires downfield. He has McCardell at the 20 to the 10. Touchdown! That was a pop fly thrown by Brad Johnson. 74-yard touchdown pass play with Keenan McCardell.
It seemed like Brad Johnson held on to that ball for over 6-7 seconds. And the reason he was able to do that, his offensive line gave all the time in the world. And, you know, it gave Keenan McCardell a chance to get behind everybody. I think the secondary and the linebackers of the Colts thought that Johnson was going to be sacked, and it didn't turn out to be that way. McCardell kept running, and what a great throw by Brad Johnson.
All right, here's Martin Gramatica getting set to attempt the extra point. Signals being called. The snap placed down by Tufa, and the kick is good. Brad Johnson throwing his 6th touchdown pass of the season. Keenan McCardell with his 2nd touchdown pass reception, and it's the Buccaneers 7, the Colts nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. An explosive start for the Buccaneers on the 74-yard touchdown pass play. They lead the Colts 7-0 as Gramatica gets set to kick it off to Brad Pyatt and James Mungro, the second-year man from Syracuse. Here is Gramatica, and the kick angled to the left is played by Pyatt. He's to the 10, 15, 20, and he's tripped up as he gets to the 25-yard line. A 21-yard return. Let's check in again with John Dockery.
Thank you, Marvin. It was interesting to watch Tony Dungy before the game coming back here tonight first time. He walked over to a bunch of the Bucs, Carl Williams, the receiver, Aaron Steckler, running back, and gave them a hug. Keyshawn Johnson came running all the way across the field and gave his old coach a hug. It's just Dungy went to the stands, people cheering up and down. He went into the end zone and actually talked to a few fans there as though he recognized them for a few minutes, shook hands with them as well. Said he couldn't wait to get this game started. He's sick of the prodigal son returning home, and now what he's looking for is a score from his high-powered offense.
Tony's still a very popular guy here in Tampa. Colts first down at the 26. Play action on the screen. The completion to Williams, running to his right, gets out to the 30, and then was walloped by the weak side linebacker, Derek Brooks. It's a 5-yard pickup off the screen play.
Marv, that's exactly what I'm talking about with Derek Brooks. It looks like they're going to hand it off. They set up the screen, and you think that all of a sudden they're going to go for long yardage, and out of nowhere comes 55 to make a short-handed tackle.
Ricky Williams, the lone D-back. Ricky Williams goes 5'7", about 195 pounds in his second year out of Texas Tech. Long count once again by Manning. And now the gift to Williams, finds a hole on the left side and is able to work his way across the 35 to about the 37, and it's a first down for the Colts. The strong safety, John Lynch, on the tackle.
Well, here's the theory about beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think maybe the Carolina Panthers showed some people a few things. Not only do you have to block some kicks and get some breaks, but you can run right at them because they are so undersized outside at the defensive end spot, and those guys are so worried about getting sacked, you can run underneath where they vacate.
Once again, Williams alone. Setback. Here's the swing pass to Williams. Williams stutter steps his way to the 41-yard line, and he's taken down. Ryan Neese, strong side linebacker, and the safety John Lynch on the stop. 4-yard advance. Ricky Williams last week started at running back for the injured Edgerrin James, but also remained on special teams. Did not want to lose his usual job. He's been primarily a special teams player, just at a backup running back. Second down and 6 at the 41. Just under 8 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Again, the handoff to Williams, and he stopped at the line. Nowhere to go. Let's check in with John Dockery. Doc?
Quickly, Marv, if you looked at that left cornerback position, Brian Kelly is out, and Tim Wansley is in. Kelly walking along the sidelines gingerly. I'll try to get a report on it.
All right, Brian Kelly, 6-year man from Southern Cal, who had 8 interceptions last season to tie for the NFL lead. So he is replaced by Tim Wansley. It's a 3rd and 7 now. Back at the 40 again. Manning in a conversation with his 2 running backs, James Mungro and Ricky Williams. And now a timeout has been called. 7:24 remaining in this opening quarter. It's the Bucs 7, the Colts nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Back in Tampa, let's check out the injury report brought to you by Thermacare. Don't let aches and pains slow you down. Wrap yourself in relief with Thermacare. Let's go to John.
Yeah, Marv, one of the things that makes the Tampa Bay Bucs defense so good is not only talent, but also continuity and integration. And one of their stars in the defensive backfield, Brian Kelly, the left cornerback, is out with a pectoral strain. It might have happened on that slant play tackle that he made on Marvin Harrison. His return is questionable. Back to you, Mark.
Wow, continuity and integration.
And pectoral.
Speed. Continuity, integration, and speed.
We're dealing with a Harvard man down there.
It's unbelievable.
All right, 3rd down and 7 from the 40-yard line.
Where do you get in-depth analysis like that from?
Low snap played by Manning. He's being rushed. Gets the throwaway. Intended for Harrison. It is incomplete. It was off to the left side. It is very rare to sack Peyton Manning, and the Bucs nearly got him.
You know why it's so rare, Marv? Because he's so aware about what's going on around him. He will throw the football away, and he'll make sure that it isn't intercepted. At least this year he won't. And that's one of the keys that Tony Dungy said. One of the reasons that they are 4-0 is because they are protecting the football.
Nate Webster was in the face of Manning. First punt of the night for Hunter Smith. It is taken at the 18-yard line by Williams, and moving to his right, gets out to the 23. A 4-yard return, a 42-yard punt, but a flag is down.
Too many men on the field for the Buccaneers. One of the guys was trying to get off. I think it was Rondé Barber, and they caught him well on the field. So it's an easy call for the referees, but it's not going to give the Colts a first down. The question will be whether or not they want to punt it over to see if they can back the Bucs up any further.
We await the announcement from the referee, Johnny Greer. This is the first penalty of the night.
I would think that you'd want to punt it again because you want to put him back further inside the field if you can.
On the receiving team. We'll penalize 5 yards and re-kick.
There you go.
So the punting unit back on the field for the Colts. Buccaneers have a 7-0 lead on the 74-yard touchdown pass play. Brad Johnson to Keenan McCardell, the longest reception of the season for Tampa Bay.
And you know what happens here, Marv? Not only as a punt return team, do you think that they're not going to fake it when it's 4th and 7? But now if it's 4th and 2, there is a possibility that they might run a fake, so you're less likely to set up a better return.
All right, Smith is back at his 31. Williams at his 15 gets the punt away, high end over end, and Williams lets it carry over his head and into the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20. That will go down as a 55-yard punt. Tampa Bay 7, Indianapolis nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Okay, later in the game, we'll tell you all about tonight's Rolaids moment. It's brought to you by Extra Strength Rolaids Antacids with even more acid-neutralizing power to wipe out heartburn fast. I wonder if they work on hiccups, Marv. What do you think?
I think you've recovered.
I did recover, and I didn't hold my breath for 44 minutes or 40 seconds, whatever you said. But I did slam some pretzels in between. I think that did the job.
Just an honest suggestion.
Well, 4 minutes, though. That's not... What does that tell me?
The Bucs start out from their 20-yard line. Jameel Cook has come on now for Mike Allstott. He's the fullback lined up in front of Pittman. And the handoff to Pittman looks to go wide. He looks to make the turn. A penalty marker down as he gets across the 25. He's ridden out of bounds by the right corner, Nick Hoffer, but there's a flag on the play. It's against the Buccaneers.
They're going to bring it back. It's going to be holding that interior line. I couldn't see who it was, but, you know, I'm watching Mike Doss, that rookie strong safety that they got up at Ohio State in the draft this past year. And I'll tell you, that kid is active. He is around the line of scrimmage.
Holding, number 80, offense. Still first down.
And I'll tell you, he is ripe for the pickings, meaning that you could probably run a fake right at him and throw it in behind him if he's not careful. You know, sometimes these rookies come in, they're so jacked up that they kind of lose sense of where they are. And I know Mike has been a nice addition for them, but he's got to be careful. He's playing rather reckless, I feel, at the line of scrimmage.
A holding penalty on the backup tight end, Todd Yoder. Now they go full wide out. Here's Johnson looking over the middle. He fires. He completes out of the 17 to Keyshawn Johnson. 7 on the play. Nelson and Thornton combined to make the stop. Indianapolis with Raheem Brock, Larry Triplett, Monte Rager, and Dwight Freeney up front. Marcus Washington, Rob Morris, and David Thornton are the linebackers. Walt Harris, Nick Hopper at the corners. Breeze Bashir and Mike Doss are the deep men. 6 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Bucs looking at a 2nd and 12 at their 18-yard line. Tampa Bay 7 and Indianapolis nothing. Johnson calling signals. Empty backfield for the Bucs. Here's Johnson looking to throw. Throws to the near side. A leaping catch made by Keyshawn Johnson. Out of the 33 has a first down. He's met by the left corner. Walt Harris, a 15-yard pickup for Keyshawn, his first reception of the game.
Actually, all it is a comeback down the right sideline. It's man coverage. Walt Harris has Keyshawn Johnson the whole way down. You know, and this is what good receivers do. They make those defensive backs think that they're going to run a fly pattern and try to run past them. And then he settles down and comes back. And Keyshawn's such a big target along the sideline. And say what you want about him and his personality and his issues, but there's not a tougher receiver in football than Keyshawn Johnson, at least in my estimation.
And he has had some huge games in the Monday night showcase. First down from the 33 play action by Johnson. Now he throws deep down the middle. It is picked off. Intercepted by Mike Doss. Cutting to his right. He's hit. He fumbles. It's picked up by McCardell. McCardell racing to the 30, to the 20, the 10. Touchdown. What a wild play.
As Doss makes the interception down the field on the overthrow, he's running back, and I couldn't see who the offensive lineman was, but an offensive lineman actually made the tackle. If he does it, it's going to be McCardell and Doss one-on-one, possibly for a touchdown for the Colts. But Doss fumbles the ball on his way down, and McCardell is right there. The ball bounces right up into his hands. You talk about a little bit of luck. Oh, man, it was a great play by Doss. And then, unfortunately, the rookie fumbled it. I think he felt like he had an opportunity for a touchdown and just fumbled it as he was hit by an offensive lineman of the Buccaneers.
It was Keenan McCardell who was able to hook up earlier with Brad Johnson on that 74-yard pass play. And on the fumble recovery, he runs it in. Here's Gramatica for the extra point. It's placed down, and the kick is good.
I should have told you in my keys to the game, one of the important things would be to catch the interception and hold on to it, not fumble it and let the other team get it and run for the touchdown.
That was a very nice hop on that loose ball that landed in the arms of Keenan McCardell.
I think it was Roman Oben made the tackle, Marv, that forced the fumble.
4:55 remaining in this first quarter. The Buccaneers with a 14-0 lead on the Colts. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicking it away as Gramatica gets it to Hyatt, takes at his goal line, running to his right, brings across the 20-yard line and is taken down by Tim Wansley. It's a 24-yard return. What a wacky play a moment ago. Penalty marker is down on that kickoff. Brad Johnson intercepted by the rookie Mike Doss. He took it 14 yards. On the return, he fumbles, and then Keenan McCardell picked it up, went 57 yards for the touchdown.
Yeah, and I identified Roman Oben as the guy that made the tackle. It wasn't. It was center John Wade. It's going to be a personal foul on the
receiving team.
The Colts are going to take him back 15 yards, but Marv, I misidentified. I said that it was Roman Oben, the tackle, but it was John Wade, the center, who was right at the center of the field, and he was there waiting for Doss, and he dove, and as he was diving to tackle Doss, it was his right arm that came up along Doss's thigh pad and knocked the ball out. And McCardell was right there to pick it up and take it in for the touchdown. Strange play.
Whew. So the Colts are in a hole early in this ball game as they start out from their 12-yard line. They're trailing 14-0. The lone deep-back is Williams. Here's Manning with the play fake. Back to throw. Gets the protection. Throws down the middle. It's caught for a first down across the 25. Caught by Reggie Wayne. A 15-yard advance. Wayne covered by Rondé Barber.
Yeah, the Colts are going to have to answer here now with something. They got to get some movement here. They got to get some points on this drive. They got to kind of take this crowd out of it a little bit. You know, this defense feeds on the emotion of this crowd and the noise that it generates. Very difficult to hear if you're an offensive lineman for an opposing team in this building.
Harrison right, Wayne left. Flag is down as the handoff goes to Williams on a slant to the left, but a penalty marker is down. Picked up just 2 on the play.
And that's going to be Dallas Clark.
Ball start. Number 44. Offense.
The rookie tight end, Marv, who was on the end of the line and could not hear the snap count. Now, the one thing I did notice is that Peyton Manning is using a lot of silent snap counts tonight, so he's not actually barking the signals out. He's tapping his center on his butt, telling him he wants the football, and then it's up to the center to raise his head and snap the football. So I don't know why Clark would have jumped off sides.
Manning looking at a 1st and 15 from the Colts. 22, Williams, the lone setback. Here's Manning, back to throw. Throws over the middle, once again completes out at the 30-yard line. Dallas Clark picks up 8 on the play. Clark, first-round draft pick out of Iowa, who has moved past Joe Dean Davenport as the second tight end.
Peyton Manning looks like one of those guys on a tarmac at an airport, you know, directing the airplanes. I mean, that's what he looks like out here, folks. Pointing and gesturing and kind of always turning around, telling his running back what's going on.
Can you recall another quarterback in the NFL who would shift and shuffle and have as many conversations?
Some idiot in Cincinnati back in the 80s, I guess.
Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Second down and 7. Now Manning going up and down the offensive line.
I didn't do all of that.
Whispering sweet nothing. The lone deep back is Williams. Here's the handoff. Williams off left guard and has just a short pickup. Warren Sapp on the stop. About 4 on the play. You know, Peyton Manning does say that he always admired play action skills of number 7 in Cincinnati.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very nice of him to say that. But, again, I've always thought that Peyton Manning is the smartest football player in the NFL, that they should quicken the pace for him and just let him play football and throw it.
Third down and 3. Now Manning does throw to the right flat. He completes to Harrison right at the marker. Let's see where they spot it. The Bucs say no, that he did not pick up the first down, and apparently they did not. Just a short advance. Tim Wansley with a good play to keep Harrison away from that first down marker.
You know, again, the sure tackling of the defensive backs of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, very impressive. They all tackle well. They all fly to the ball. And Monty Kiffin deserves a lot of credit for putting all of this together and making sure that they all know how to tackle.
Third punt for Hunter Smith from his 22. Carl Williams is back at his 20, high and deep. Played by Williams. Has to retreat to the 10. Now he's to the 15, to the 20, 25. Nice return by Carl Williams. Williams, the 8-year man from Texas A&M Kingsville, went for 19 on a 54-yard punt. Cliff Crosby making the tackle for the Colts.
You know, a couple plays here by the offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One, the first touchdown pass, the 74-yarder to Keenan McCardell over the top. And I think that Colts defense, especially in the secondary, thought that Brad Johnson probably was going to be sacked and there was no way that he could get the ball down the field. And then the interception by the Colts, and then Keenan McCardell being there to pick up the fumble to return it. I mean, the Colts defense has actually played pretty good up to this point.
Tampa Bay will start out from their 29. They're lined up in the eye. Here's the handoff to Pittman. A big hole off the left side. He fumbles the ball as he crossed the 30. May have been down, though. Yes, apparently he was down by contact, and the play is blown dead. A 3-yard pickup for Pittman.
One thing I will say about the Colts defense, and this is probably the last 6-7 years, you never really thought of them as being physical, you know. You think of the Baltimore Ravens, you think of these guys here, Tampa, Carolina now possibly, the Pittsburgh Steelers always had a physical defense. That was never the moniker of the Colts, but after watching them the first couple series tonight, I can already see the vast improvement that Tony Dungy has made with this unit, especially from 2 years ago.
One of the reasons that they like the rookie, Mike Goss, although Goss did fumble on that interception. Here's a pass over the middle. Dilger on the catch out at the 38-yard line, went for 6 on the play to bring up a 2nd and 4. Nick Harper, the right corner, made the stop. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers looking to become the first team since the 97 and 98 Denver Broncos to capture back-to-back Super Bowls.
And barring any injury, Marv, they're going to be very difficult to unseat. And, you know, in today's NFL, it's all about injuries. It's all about depth. And, you know, they've been kind of lucky in that area. They haven't really lost substantial playing time from some of their big players. Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, and, of course, Rondé Barber. Those guys have all been there. John Lynch has been there. And, you know, that's the key in today's NFL. I mean, you take a look at what the Jets and the Atlanta Falcons have gone through. And maybe even more amazingly, how the New England Patriots have continued to stay competitive and actually beat the Titans yesterday with all the injuries that Bill Belichick and his staff have had to deal with.
Down to 30 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Correction on the down and distance. Now 3rd down, about 1, and Johnson on a quarterback sneak, lunging forward, and appears to have picked up the first down. Here the reaction from the crowd as time is running out in this first quarter. A strong start for the Buccaneers. Brad Johnson, 6 for 8, 114 yards, threw a touchdown, was picked off, although that interception led to another touchdown because of the fumble by the strong safety Mike Goss following the pick, recovered by Keenan McCardell, and he ran it in for another touchdown. That's the end of the first quarter. The Bucs 14, the Colts nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. A reminder that for every touchdown scored inside the red zone tonight and all season long on Monday Night Football, Milwaukee Electric Tool will make a donation to Habitat for Humanity. Heavy duty helping for families in need. Second quarter about to get underway. Boomer, how about these numbers? Total yards first quarter. Tampa Bay 125. Indianapolis 48.
You know, I think you kind of could have expected that because I'm telling you, when you play against this defense here in Tampa, I mean, they're all over you, and they are quick, and they are sure tacklers, and we've seen exactly that from their defense tonight.
Bucs first down from their 40. Johnson back to throw. Johnson throwing, has a wide open Keyshawn Johnson. Makes the catch, and he's taken down at the Indianapolis 35-yard line. It's a 24-yard pass play for Keyshawn, his second catch of the night.
And Marv, when you think about the architect of the cover 2 Tampa defense, who is it? Well, that's, of course, Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator of the Buccaneers. So I'm sure John Gruden and the offensive staff went to Monty and said, all right, now what are the vulnerabilities? How can we take advantage of this? Take a look at this film and see if they're doing exactly what we're doing, and I think that's what the Buccaneers have done. They're finding and exploiting the weaknesses.
All right, first down at the 35. Here's the handoff to Pittman. Accelerates on a slant to the left, gets inside the 30-yard line. He had those feet moving quickly Went for 8 on the play. Let's check in with Doc. John?
You know, Marvin, speaking of Keyshawn Johnson a moment ago, I talked to him before the game, and he was certainly psyched up about this. He said, hey, watch the head-to-head competition with elite receivers like Marvin Harrison. I always outdo them. But he does. We're going to see tonight. And I said, what about the Colts defense? He said, who are they? I don't know any of them. We'll do some business against them. Typical Keyshawn.
Oh, beautiful.
All right, second down and 3. Here's the handoff. Pittman off the right side, cuts left, able to break a tackle, gets inside the 15. Beautiful run by Pittman. The middle linebacker, Rob Mars, finally got hold of him. But Michael Pittman off to the good start, able to pick up 12 more.
Yeah, that ball started to the right, Marv. He cuts it back, and then Nick Harper, defensive back, for the Colts, actually has a chance to make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage, and it was a player not doing what he was supposed to do, and that's Harper. He misses against Pittman, and every running back in this football league has to make guys miss, and Pittman did that right there in that play.
First down for the Bucs at the Colts 15. Aaron Stecker in the backfield. They line up in the eye. Allstott in front of Stecker. Here's the handoff to Stecker on a delay. Cuts to his right and has a short pickup. The outside linebacker, Marcus Washington, on the tackle. 2 yards for Stecker, who is in his 4th year out of Weston, Illinois. This is the first time he's been on the field.
Yeah, you know, you want to embrace Keyshawn Johnson as, you know, one of the more flamboyant personalities in the NFL, doing a great job back in his hometown of Watts, L.A., and then, you know, John Cochran tells you what he says before the game, like, who are these guys who are going to make plays, and I'm an elite receiver? Nah, you know, he just turns you off.
Second and 8 at the 13-yard line. Signals called. Johnson takes, rolling right, throws, and he has Gilger. Gilger gets down to the 5, and he stops inside the 5-yard line. Ken Gilger, one-time Indianapolis Colt, goes for 10, and a first down. It'll be first and goal for the Bucs.
This has got to be fun for John Gruden as he calls the offensive plays, because everything he's calling is working. They start out with a deep pass over the top to Keyshawn Johnson. Then it's play action, and then it's another play action, then it's handoff to Michael Pittman, and now we get to see Warren Sapp in at tight end.
Crowd reacts as number 99, the pass-catching threat, Warren Sapp, has checked in. He's lined up to the left. First and goal from the 3. Here's the handoff to Allstott. Tries the right side, and he is stopped down at the 1. Mike Allstott, who last season made the Pro Bowl for the 6th time, led the Bucs with 7 touchdowns, 5 on the ground, 2 receiving. They spotted at the 2. It'll be a second and goal at the 2-yard line.
We had Warren Sapp visit our NFL Today set 2 Sundays ago. I'll tell you, what a piece of work he is now. Keyshawn Johnson and Warren Sapp run right past each other and don't even say hi. That's kind of strange, but maybe not. Maybe they don't like each other, but...
Wait a second. They have to say hello to each other?
Give each other 5 or something. They just run like right past each other, not looking at each
Warren.
other.
Hi, Keyshawn.
Hey, you know, good play. Do something. But, you know, Warren Sapp is a dedicated Tampa Bay Buck. He's here all summer long working out. And I think that's one of the reasons why he wasn't very happy with Keyshawn, because Keyshawn chose to go back home and work out.
All right, a timeout taken by Tampa Bay. 10:22 remaining in this first half. Bucs 14, Colts nothing. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League. Back in Tampa, welcome back to the Acura broadcast booth, along with Boomer Esiason, John Dockley. I'm Marv Albee. Boomer's still in the Honda portion of the Acura broadcast booth. It's so confusing. Third and goal at the 3. Michael Pittman is in the backfield for the Bucs, looking for more. They have a 14-0 lead on the Colts. Buccaneers to the line. Here's Johnson looking to throw. Johnson throws. Touchdown! A bullet caught by Reggie Barlow on the left side. Reggie Barlow, who had been inactive for 2 games, played in Atlanta 2 weeks ago on a 3-yard hookup, and the Bucs now lead it 20-0.
Too easy. 3-man pass rush by the Colts. No pressure whatsoever.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 53 of the defense. After the touchdown, will penalize on the kickoff.
Well, that's Marcus Washington, obviously upset about the way things are going here in the early going.
Yeah, no pass rush, as I was saying, and Brad Johnson could survey the field, and Reggie Barlow was just to his left and ran underneath number 23, and it was just, actually number 27, David Macklin, excuse me, and it was just an easy throw.
All right, here's Gramatica with the point after. It is up, and it is good. 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Another score for the Bucs. 11 plays, 71 yards. They had the ball for 6 minutes and 21 seconds. 21-0 Tampa Bay. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Off the penalty on the Colts. The kickoff will take place at the 45-yard line. So Martin Gramatica getting set to kick it away. The deep man is Brad Pyatt. And Gramatica lofts it to the goal line. Here's Pyatt out to the 10, 15, and he's submarined at the 15-yard line. Took the hit from Corey Ivy. A 14-yard return right here. We'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is CBS Radio Sports and Westwood One, your home for Monday Night Football.
Once a Flyer, always a Flyer. I'm Dan Patrick. Listen weekdays at 1 o'clock for Dayton references. Can't do a show without them. On 1410 ESPN Radio.
On a balmy, as John Dockery put it, 82-degree night in Tampa. Marv Albert, Boomer Esiason, John Dockery. The Colts starting out from their 15. The running back now is Dominic Rhodes, taking the field for the first time. And here's the handoff to Rhodes. On a sweep to the left, he gets up to the 17-yard line. Simeon Rice made the stop. Dominic Rhodes last week in New Orleans carried it 6 times for 36 yards, caught a touchdown, making his return last week. He missed all of last year with a torn ACL.
Hey, what are we, about an hour flight away from New Orleans from here? Is that about right? Didn't they score 55 points there last week, the Colts? Guess what? This ain't the Saints.
Second down and 8 for the 17. Here's Manning looking to throw. Sends to the right flat, complete to the tight end. Pollard breaks the tackle and picks up the first down, reaching out to the 30-yard line. Marcus Pollard caught 4 balls last week after getting off to a very slow start this season. That's his first catch of the night. It's good for 13.
Only the 3rd first down for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this is their 4th possession. As I said it before, Peyton Manning has got to muster up some points here. This game can get completely out of hand if they're not careful. And he's got to give his defense a chance to sit on the sideline and catch his collective breath a little bit.
First down at the 30. Rhodes, the lone D-back. Manning makes the adjustments. Now hands to Rhodes on a sweep to the left. Nowhere to go. Reaches the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Dominic Rhodes for no gain. Let's go downstairs to John.
Talking to Indianapolis offensive coordinator Tom Moore before the game, he's talking about the Tampa defense. He said he was very, very nervous. He says they play cover 2. We know, they know. Still, they are the best. This is not a designer defense. It's straightforward. He says what makes it work, Boomer Marvin, is the middle linebacker dropping some 20, 25 yards downfield to help in the middle with the safeties.
Didn't say anything about the pass rush. That kind of helps, too.
All right, Doc, James Monroe is now in the backfield. Here's the pass to Harrison as Manning swings it out to the right. Harrison gets to the 35-yard line, met by Tim Wansley. 21-0, Tampa Bay leading Indianapolis. Certainly early, Boomer, with this taking on the look of that AFC wild card game of last year when the Colts were walloped by the Jets. 41-0 after the sparkling season that Indianapolis had.
They took a beating, and, after this play, I want to go down and ask John Dockery a question about this Tampa Bay defense from his vantage point.
It's a 3rd down and 5. Manning out of the shotgun. He has Rhodes and Monroe in the backfield. Manning takes the snap. Now Manning throws over the middle. He completes out of the 39 to Dominic Rhodes, but short of the first down against Wansley, who is playing for the injured Kelly, making the tackle.
Hey, Doc, you were a defensive player. Talk about the pursuit of this Tampa Bay defense.
Boomer, you said it before. They are so fast, and they have talent everywhere. Up front, look at what they have. They have Sapp. They have Simeon Rice. Linebacker Brooks. They have a defensive backfield that's almost all pro. I mean, this is a defense that is so talented and so precise.
Hunter Smith back to punt. And he's back at his 30. Gets off a beauty. A fair catch called for by Carl Williams and makes the catch back at his 13-yard line. A 47-yard punt. There's a break of the action with 6:43 remaining in the first half. Buccaneers 21, Colts nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Juicy Johnsonville brats. I'd like to remind you that for every brat sold on the Big Case Grill this season, a donation will be made to my foundation for cystic fibrosis. Thank you, Johnsonville.
There's payback involved here.
You know, you hate when I do that.
No.
You start throwing, you know.
Well, the word great should be just, thrown around. Here's a pitch to Stecker as Tampa Bay starts out from their 14. Stecker running left, gets out to the 16. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker.
And I'll
able to make the tackle. It's a pickup of 3.
That was what they call a pitch crack. It was a throw, it was a sweep to the left for Stecker, and Michael Pittman was in short motion on the line of scrimmage, and he just decleated Chad Bradsky, the defensive end. He never saw him. And that's a way that an offense can send a message or two to a defensive lineman. And that's exactly what Michael Pittman did. That coaches love to see that.
Second and long from the 16 for the Bucs. They line up in the eyes. Johnson, who's had a terrific first half. Back to throw. Throws deep down the right side. It is caught, but may have been out of bounds. Keenan McCardell, yes, made the catch and was out of bounds, so it is incomplete. McCardell being covered by Bashir.
People always say, you hear these announcers and they talk about how defenses get tired because they're on the field a lot. And, how come offenses don't get tired with them? Well, the offense has got a feeling that they're moving the football. They have confidence on their side. When defenses spend a lot of time on the field, they're battling and they're trying to get the ball back, and they're usually behind, and they get mentally tired as well as physically tired. And I think sooner or later that's going to happen to the Indianapolis Colts defense if the Colts offense doesn't wake up tonight.
Third down and 8 now for the Bucs from their 16. They go with Pittman and Stecker in a split backfield. Here's Johnson with a flip that didn't work very well. Stecker takes it at the line, and he is taken down by Rager. It looked like a desperation pitch by Brad Johnson, and one of the rare times tonight the Tampa Bay offense did not look sharp, and they'll be forced to punt. Tom Tupa comes on for the second time, and he will punt from his goal line.
The Colts should get good offensive field position here.
Brad Pyatt, back from a hip pointer injury, is awaiting this punt at the Colt 30. Signals being called. Here's the snap, a high snap. Tupa gets it away. Penalty flag is down. It's taken at the 30. And here comes Pyatt running to his right. And then is taken down. He could not make the turn. He was looking to set up running room, but Jack Golden, a backup linebacker, was able to chase him across the field. A 54-yard punt. Nothing on the return. And the penalty is called on the Colts.
And that was right at the line of scrimmage here. This is going to be, interesting to see what they do here, because I would think that holding, you got to have a first down if you are the Buccaneers.
That's an automatic first down.
Yeah. I mean, what a terrible penalty to take on behalf of the Colts. They actually threw the flag as the ball was, it seemed like it was being snapped. And I think what they were trying to do, one of the defensive players for the Colts was trying to grab one of the blockers of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to create a seam to see if they could block a punt. And the referee was zoned in right there, made the call as the play was unfolding. So just an enormous mistake on behalf of the special teams of the Colts.
Wow, what a bad play. Etron Smith, backup fullback, was called on the penalty. So Tampa Bay now starts out from their 21-yard line. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Pittman and all side of the backfield. They line up in the eye. And now Brad Johnson makes some changes at the line. Long count. And here is the pitch to Pittman off the left side on a slant, reaches out across the 35, tripped up by Rob Morris, so Pittman goes for 5 yards.
So what happens, Marv, is the quarterback gets up to the line of scrimmage. You know, he has 2 run plays in his head, one to the right and one to the left. And he'll look to see how the defense is aligned. And if there are 2 deep safeties, they'll probably tend to run it to the strong side because they have an extra blocker over there. If the strong safety is up by the line of scrimmage, they'll run it away from him and they'll run to the weak side. And that's exactly what Brad Johnson did on that last play. Just read the safeties, not very difficult.
2nd down and 5. The Bucs go with 4 wideouts, empty backfield. Signals called by Johnson. He's back to throw. Look out. And he is hit as he releases the ball. It is incomplete. The blitz was on, and Dwight Freeney was coming from the right side. Dwight Freeney, extremely quick last year. 13 sacks, runner-up for NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Freeney nearly got to Johnson.
And what happens, defenses make their audibles too. So this time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get up there, nobody in the backfield, so therefore you can only have 6 guys blocking the 5 offensive linemen and the tight end. And if you release that 5 end, there's only 5 offensive linemen. The defense knows that. They audible, and they bring 6 away from the tight end, nobody there to block.
3rd down and 5. Pittman is alone. Deep back. A lot of movement down the line. Penalty flag down. Here's Johnson throwing deep down the right side. It is incomplete. Intended for McCardell at midfield, but another flag is down.
I think you might have 2 penalties here. Well, you're going to have offside. I know that on the Colts. I thought there was going to be a holding possibly on McCardell. Chad Bratsky probably jumped offside. Now, he's the one that got earholed by Michael Pittman a few plays ago, so he's probably a little bit ticked off.
Offside, right tackle, defense, first down.
Well, I said right tackle, but that was the veteran out of Eastern Kentucky, 10-year man, Chad Bratsky. The Colts with their 5th penalty of the night cost them 42 yards. And a first down for Tampa Bay at their 31.
Not the way that Tony Dungy wants to spend his birthday back here in Tampa. 21-0, and these guys are getting shelled.
Johnson takes the snap. The handoff to Pittman. Finds a hole on the left. Picks up short yardage. And again, a penalty flag comes flying. Jim Nelson making the tackle on Michael Pittman. But another penalty, and one of the Colt players shaken up. In fact, it's Nelson who made the tackle. Nelson, a 5-year man out of Penn State, spent a year with Green Bay, 3 years with Minnesota.
Number 76, offense. Still first down.
Well, that's the Tampa Bay center, John Wade. And we'll take a break with 4 minutes, 2 seconds remaining in this first half. The Bucs 21, but Colts nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Hey, fans, don't miss all the NFL excitement on CBS this Sunday when the Denver Broncos host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Check your local listings for more details. Catch the NFL and the NFL Today on CBS. With Jim Nantz, Deion Sanders, my friend Dan Marino. I know him, you know.
Wait a second. You think Dan is your only friend on the set?
No, but, you know, he and I are the only 2 quarterbacks. Well, actually, I guess you could consider Jim Nantz a quarterback. He's got to deal with the 3 of us.
Yes, he does.
You know, and Deion's the defensive
freelancer.
You know,
he's a freelancer.
He's out there doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I played on a basketball team. I had a charity basketball game last year, and Deion was on my team. And
how was he?
Unbelievable.
Really?
What an athlete.
Yeah.
What an I just sat there in awe. Then I had to tell him, you know, I am on your team, so if you want to pass it to me every now and then, you can.
Did he serve up some facials on you?
No,
I could see him dunking.
You should have seen, you know, actually worked a pick and roll. It was nice.
Really?
Pick and roll, yeah, it was nice. And then Dan got mad and said, how come I can't play it? I said, well, you've got to pull the Achilles. You can't jump. You can't move. You know, so if I want to have a guy shooting free throws, maybe I'll hire you, and I'll ask you to come and do that.
I'm still very upset, though, when I hear the game announcers and they promote the studio show as you watch Jim Nelson, the Indianapolis linebacker, they helped onto a cart as he was shaken up just a moment ago and making a tackle. I'm still upset
about what?
That they always mention you last when they say coming up. It'll be Jim, Dan, Dion, and it's almost like an afterthought.
Yeah, I know. I'm there. Sitting on the end.
In fact, the pause, they're not sure if they even want to go that far.
Well, what could I tell you? I know that. I know it pains Phil Sims to go there. And I think Solomon Wilcott's one of our announcers.
Well, Phil doesn't deal with promotional announcements. That would be...
No, but every now and then, Phil, and speaking of Phil, his son is on the, obviously on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is their third quarterback. Saw him before the game.
He came up to you and said, "Hi, Dad."
Yeah, he did. Very good. Very good. For those people out there that don't know, sometimes when I'm walking through the airport, people will say, "Hey, Phil," and I know Phil gets it on the other side. I think Phil appreciates it more than I do because I'm younger. I'm younger than he is. But I'll tell you what, Phil's son here, Chris, has found a great place to really sit and learn. He's got a great head coach and a great offensive mind in John Gruden. And more importantly, he's got a guy like Brad Johnson who is very secure in who he is now, finally. Because he's found a home here down in Tampa, winning a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. And he's a great sounding board. And, that's what you want. You want an older quarterback who is secure, who can lend his support to not only him, but also Sean King, their second quarterback. So a great situation for Chris Sims. I'm sure he'd rather be on the field. But everything takes a little bit of time.
Sean King actually played some against the Atlanta Falcons in the Buccaneers last game. Now set to resume. First and 20 from the 21. Here's Johnson looking to throw. Connects to the right flat. Has the tight end Dilger. And he's run out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Run out by David Thornton, who's had an outstanding first half.
Well, he's been on the field the whole first half. The Colts offense hasn't done anything. And, you talk about when John Gruden got here and whether or not he was going to like Brad Johnson. And he immediately took to Brad Johnson when he saw what a student of the game he is, and that's exactly what John Gruden's known for.
Pickup of 10 is second and 10 at the 31. Pittman is the lone D-back. Johnson looking to throw. Throws over the middle, has Pittman. And Pittman throwing a head fake was taken down at the 38. Picked up 7 on the play. Dwight Freeney coming back to make the tackle. So Johnson finding Pittman underneath. And as we come up on 3 minutes remaining in this first half, it will be a 3rd down and 3 now for Tampa Bay at their 38-yard line. The Bucs 21 and the Colts nothing. Keyshawn Johnson flanks wide to the right side. Michael Pittman again the lone setback. They line up in a slot left formation. Signals called. Here's Johnson with a short set, throwing a timing pattern that is overthrown, but a marker is down. It was intended for Cardell, and there will be an interference. He was covered by Nick Hopper, the right corner. You can see that Cardell was not able to accelerate.
Well, this took place right inside the 5-yard territory, and they're going to call pass interference. There you go.
Number 25, defense. First down.
The question that I would have had if they would have called it interference, that the ball was clearly uncatchable, came down way out of bounds. But if it is illegal hands to the face, they have to call it immediately, and that's what they did.
So the right corner, Nick Hopper, in his 3rd year out of Fort Valley State, called on yet another Colts penalty. A first down for Tampa Bay from their 43. Johnson flanks to the right. Pittman is the lone setback. 2.5 remaining in this first half. Yoder in motion. Here's Johnson punting. Now looking, running to his right. He's in trouble. Flag is thrown. Johnson will run it and runs it out of bounds. Short of a first down. Run out by the outside linebacker, David Thornton, but there is a penalty on the play.
There's going to be holding against the offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but people were wondering whether or not Gruden was going to take to Brad Johnson, and everybody said, well, he's not Rich Gannon. He doesn't run around. He's not mobile, but he's mobile enough, and he's smart enough. Every coach in the league would love to have a guy like Brad Johnson that he feels comfortable about when he sends in plays.
Offense. Go first down.
Once again, that's on the center, John Wade. John Wade signed as a free agent from Jacksonville, spent 5 years with the Jaguars, taking over from Jeff Christie. This has been a penalty-filled drive, both sides of the ball. The Bucs have picked up 3 first downs on penalties called against the Colts on this drive. Tampa Bay hit with their 4th Penalty of the half. First and 20 from the 33. Handoff to Pittman. Has a big hole on the right side. Able to work his way across the 40-yard line. Still way short of a first down. Went for 10 on the play, and we have reached the 2-minute warning with the score. Tampa Bay 21, Indianapolis nothing. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Welcome back to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Marv Albert, Boomer Esiason, John Dockery. 2 minutes remaining in this first half. The Buccaneers with a 21-0 lead on the Colts. Michael Pittman in the backfield as we resume. Second down and 10 from the 43-yard line. Here's the play fake to Pittman. Johnson can't find anybody. He's turned around and looked like he tried to release the football as it came loose. And a penalty marker is down as the ball hit the ground.
He was trying to flip it to Ken Dilger, and I think that's what they're arguing about right now. Johnny Greer wants to call intentional grounding.
There is no infraction for grounding on the play. There was an eligible receiver in the area.
Yeah, that was his tight end. He was trying to flip it to him, Marv, like a little shovel pass as he was being brought to the ground. So, again, this is, it's a quarterback who understands that sacks are obviously negative plays, and he tries to get rid of the football and will take the incompletion instead. And he and Peyton Manning are two of the tougher quarterbacks to sack simply because of that reason. They'll throw it away. They'll get it out of there.
He was able to spin around and release the ball that hit the ground, but as you say, there was a receiver in the area. Here's a swing pass to Pittman. Pittman out to the 47-yard line, maybe the 48. Stopped by Nick Harper, the right cornerback, short of a first down. He went for 5, and now with a minute and 38 remaining in this first half, a timeout has been called. The punting unit checking in.
Yeah, the timeout was called by the Colts. A nice move by them. They want to see if they can get some points on the board before the end of the half here. And that last play was perfectly set up. A little fake to Pittman out of the backfield, and then a fake reverse to Keenan McCardell coming around, and then they threw a screen back to Pittman. And I don't know what Pittman was thinking. He had a wall of blockers if he just would have went to the outside, but he cut back inside and was hauled down for a minimal gain, so that led the fourth down. Now, hey, folks, log on to NFL.com for custom video highlights, hey, Marv, of your personal fantasy team, plus last-minute fantasy updates on game day. Wow, I'll tell you what, it's all there on NFL.com.
You're the only person who reads these promotional announcements, and you actually excite yourself. It's very amusing.
Forget about my fantasy team, man.
All right, Tom Tupa back to punt from his 33-yard line, and Brad Pyatt awaits the punt at his 10. Tupa angles it, a floater. Pyatt lets it fly by, takes a nice hop inside the 5, and it's down at the 1.
Oh, it's checked up. It looks like a ball hitting the green and just checked up right before it got. It might be on the 2-inch line.
Tim Wansley able to get to it and downed it at the 1-yard line. A 51-yard punt and a beauty by Tupa. So here's Peyton Manning of the Colts back onto the field, and they'll start out from their 1-yard line with a minute and a half remaining first half.
Maybe that timeout for the Colts wasn't such a good idea after all, as Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice and his entire defense are trying to get the fans in that part of the end zone to get real loud and noisy. Very difficult to communicate when you got 70,000 fans screaming at the top of their lungs, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
They line up with one setback. James Mungro, who's deep in his end zone. Here's Manning with the handoff to Mungro. Tries the left side and is able to barrel his way out to the 5-yard line. James Mungro stopped by the strong safety, John Lynch.
Sooner or later here, Tampa's got one timeout left, so they're going to have to use it here somewhere along the line. And if Peyton Manning was smart, he would try to take this down clock down as far as he possibly can. And he doesn't.
Second and 5 from the 6. Here's Manning pegging and completing out of the 15-yard line. And Marvin Harrison has been very quiet. Wansley makes the stop, picked up 9 on the play. 4 catches, only 19 yards to Harrison with 58 seconds remaining. In this first half, a timeout call, 21-0, Tampa Bay over Indianapolis. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Colts quickly to the line. They have a first down now at their 16 with 58 seconds left in the half. Out of the gun, Manning throwing off the back foot and underthrows James Mungro in the right flank.
I'm actually surprised, Marv, that the Colts have elected to do this. You know, they called timeout. You know, they're inside their own 20. I figure they grind it out, see if they get a first down. It's one thing if you're at your own 40-yard line and you're going for points. It's another thing when you're starting at your own 1-foot line.
So you say it's too risky here to give up another interception
right there.
All right, again out of the shotgun. Manning calling signals, 2nd and 10 for the 16. Here's Manning looking left and throws it incomplete. I don't know if he was trying to throw that into the ground because there was double coverage on the intended receiver, Marvin Harrison.
Well, you know, you said Marvin Harrison, and there's usually 100 guys around him anyway, so, and it's not as posse. I mean, it's a bunch of guys from the other team, and I'll tell you this, too. Right here, if the Colts will get a first down and they complete a pass inbounds, guess who's calling timeout? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have 1 left on the clock.
It's a 3rd and 10 from the 16. And now Manning started out in the shotgun. Now goes up to the line to talk to his center, Jeff Saturday.
Well, there's all kinds of pointless stuff going on.
Manning takes the snap. Now on the screen, he completes to Clark. Clark stumbling his way out to the 15 and could get no further. He's turned back and dropped on the play by Ellis. Wims. Clark tried to get away, could not. Wims and Lynch combined on the tackle.
I guess who just called timeout? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really thought that was a tactical error on the part of the Indianapolis Colts. They got it out of their own goal line, out of the shadow of their own goal line, got it around their 16-yard line, and had a first down and had a chance to run the clock out. And, you know, they elected not to do that. They elected to be a little bit more aggressive than I would have liked. Try to get into the locker room 21-0, regroup, kind of talk about what's going on and see if you can, you know, adjust some of your strategy coming out in the second half and not put yourself in a situation where you get down by any more points. And the Buccaneers have a real good shot at doing that right here.
Colts with 5 possessions. This their 5th punt of the half. Hunter Smith will be back near his goal line. Carl Williams out at the Tampa Bay 45. 37 seconds remaining in the half. Big rush, and Smith gets it off.
Oh, what a punt.
Beauty. Williams backpedals, takes at his 35. Now running left across the 40 and tripped up. It's a 52-yard punt, 7-yard return. Detron Smith making the tackle, so Tampa Bay has the ball with 25 seconds to go in the half.
I'll tell you what, the Indianapolis Colts now have given the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a chance to move down into field goal range. Now, if you're Brad Johnson, if you want to take one shot in the middle of the field, you can do that. You just got to tell your players that you have to get up on the ball so we can spike it and give our field goal kicker an opportunity. Or you work the outside and see if you can get one of your receivers to get out of bounds when they catch it.
Empty backfield for the Buccaneers. They're at their 43-yard line. Here's Johnson taking the snap. Johnson throws the middle, and he completes. Across the 45, he has Ken Dilger. Clock is running.
And that's exactly what the Buccaneers are doing, Marv. They're going to spike the ball just like that.
Johnson puts it on the ground. There was a 15-yard pickup, and it'll be a 2nd and 10 at the Indianapolis 42-yard line with 11 seconds remaining in the half.
You know, Johnson knows, as most veteran quarterbacks know, that the defense will give you something over the middle like that, probably between 10 and 15 yards. So why not take it and then see if you can take a shot here down the sideline? Again, another pass inside. You might not have enough time, depending on how far down the field it is.
McCardell to the right, Johnson to the left. Now Johnson is back to throw. Johnson looking. He throws, looking for Keyshawn Johnson. It's broken up. It was knocked aside by David Macklin, the extra defensive back. So 4 seconds on the clock. And here comes Martin Gramatica looking to convert from long range.
I think it's going to be about 60 yards.
It is a 60-yard attempt. Gramatica 3 for 5 on the season. Remember, had the 2 blocked in the game against Carolina. He did hit from 56 in the final preseason game against Houston. That was a career best. Signals being called.
If I were the Colts, I'd have somebody back there to try to run it back.
Here's the snap that's put down, and the kick by Gramatica is no good. Off to the right side.
So why wouldn't the Colts put somebody back there just in case to see if he can run it back?
Well, time has run out. It has not been a very pleasant first half for Tony Dungy and his Indianapolis Colts.
And it's his birthday, too.
Yes.
He's a nice guy.
Brad Johnson, 14 of 20, 173 yards. In a very strong first half performance. Threw 2 touchdowns, intercepted once, and was even able to come up with a score on that interception as it was fumbled by the safety man Mike Doss, and then recovered by Keenan McCardell, who ran it in from 57 yards away. So that's the end of the first half. Tampa Bay 21, Indianapolis nothing. When we return, Jim Gray will join us with the Johnsonville Bronx halftime report. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Full of the makers of fine timepieces for over 125 years. Buccaneers had it for 17 minutes, 28 seconds, and the Colts 12:32. Seemed like Tampa Bay had it for even a longer period of time.
I think if you talk to the Colts defense, they'll probably tell you they felt like they were out there the whole first half. And a lot of penalties, not a real smooth first half either for either offense, even though the Buccaneers tended to move it a little bit more. But Peyton Manning's got to get it on, and we'll see what kind of adjustments they made at halftime, because they are receiving to start the second half.
Brad Johnson had a superb first half, 14 of 21, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. Manning not able to get anything going, although the numbers are certainly okay, 11 of 15, but just 66 yards. Here's Gramatica kicking it away. The deep man is Hyatt, but Munro steps in front of him and muffs it, then recovers, brings out to the 25 and taken down at the 28-yard line. A 12-yard return. Some confusion as to who was going to catch the football. Jermaine Phillips taking the tackle on James Munro. Let's go downstairs to John Dockery. John?
Thanks, Marv. Word from the Tampa Bay Bucs cornerback Brian Kelly, unlikely to play with bruised left pectoral muscle. Meanwhile, Tony Dungy, Colts, said he couldn't have played better. His team couldn't have played much worse. With penalties, fumbles, mistakes, we get the ball first and need a score to make it a 14-point game. That would give us a big lift. How about the hurry-up offense, Boomer?
Well, they're right to it. Colts start out at the 27. Here's Manning throwing to the right flat, and a diving catch is made by Harrison across the 35, and right at the marker. Looks like he picked up the first down. Remember, Tampa Bay has allowed only 1 touchdown over their first 3 games and counting. They lead the NFL in fewest points allowed per game, just shy of the first down. It's second and about a half yard at the 36. Now Manning takes, and the give. Ricky Williams with a big opening gets out to midfield, running to his left, and has the first down and some more. 19 on the run by Ricky Williams, stopped by the right corner, Rondé Barber.
And a couple nice adjustments by the Colts. You know, they came right out, threw the ball to Marvin Harrison. They went right after Tim Wansley. He's in replacing Brian Kelly, as John Dockery told us. And then a nice little delay off tackle left by Williams for 19. Only 20 rush yards for the Colts in the first half.
First down of the Tampa Bay 45. Here's Manning throwing over the middle, has Williams, and it's dropped. It is incomplete. Williams out at the 40-yard line, not able to hang on. It brings up a 2nd and 10 at the 45 as we get underway here in the third quarter. Tampa Bay with a 21-0 lead. Brad Johnson throwing for 2, had 1 intercepted, and that turned into a touchdown on the fumble off the intercept by Mike Doss, picked up by Keenan McCardell, and ran it in from 57 yards away. All right, Manning calls it out. Manning with the handoff. Williams straight up the middle. He's to the 40, inside the 40-yard line. Ricky Williams brought down by Simeon Rice, and Ricky Williams, running well, goes for 8 yards.
I'll tell you right now, Tony Dungy on the sideline has got to feel pretty good about the way his offense has come out and moved the ball right down the field. I mean, they've had positive play after positive play here. This isn't even, the Buck defense looks like it's, not the same one that we saw in the first half.
Third down and 2 at the Bucs. 37 again. Williams, Malone, D-back playing for the injured Edgerrin James. Short set by Manning. Now Manning throwing deep down at the 10. It's caught. Touchdown. Marvin Harrison taking it in from the 10 on a post pattern. And the Colts are on the board. A 37-yard touchdown pass play.
And we talked about halftime adjustments. And what are you going to do? They went right after Tim Wansley again on a little slant and go, and Peyton Manning very good at dropping back, looking away, kind of giving a false impression to the young cornerback over there that they were going to throw it away from him. He fell asleep, and Dwight Smith, the free safety, gave no help to Wansley over the top, leaving Marvin Harrison wide open.
Mike Vanderjagt on for the extra point. The snap is placed down, and the kick is good. Marvin Harrison with his 6th catch. He's been on the quiet side until that 37-yarder. And the Colts, 5 plays, 73 yards in a minute and 55, have finally scored. Buccaneers 21, Colts 7. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
1410 Wing AM. This is ESPN Radio.
4th touchdown reception of the season. He caught 3 last week against New Orleans, and for the first time this season, Tampa Bay has given up a passing touchdown, only the 2nd touchdown overall that they've allowed.
You know, Marvin Harrison kind of does that to you. He's small, he's short, but he is quick, runs very precise routes, and just quietly goes about his business, unlike some other superstar receivers in this league.
All right, Vanderjagt with the kick. Stecker is back. Deep kick played by Stecker at the 4. Moves it out. 15, 20, and trying to spin away, but he's upended at the 20. A 17-yard return. Corey Bird able to make the stop.
Now we'll see if the Indianapolis defense can make some adjustments and see if they can shut down the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense. I would think that Tony Dungy probably gave a pretty emotional speech there at halftime.
So the Bucs start out from their 20. They have Pittman and Allstott in the backfield. They're lined up in the eye. And the handoff. Pittman running straight ahead, across the 30-yard line. Gets to the marker, stopped by Rob Morris. Correction, I mentioned that Marvin Harrison scored his 4th touchdown. It's actually 5-4 the last 2 games for Harrison, who had the big day last week against New Orleans. First down picked up by Tampa Bay. And Pittman now has run 53 yards on 8 carries. John Wade, the center, Cozy Coleman, Jason Whittle are the guards. Roman Oben, Kenyatta Walker are the tackles. They're lined up in the eye. Again, the gift to Pittman. This time tries the left side and is able to make his way to the 32-yard line. Picked up about 3. Let's go downstairs to John Dockery.
Marv, injury update from the Colts medical staff. Linebacker Jim Nelson, hurt before the half. Injured, fractured left clavicle. Obviously won't be back today.
Well, he's not going to be back for a while, and that is a painful injury for a linebacker to sustain. Ooh.
Bucs now 2nd and 7. Pittman and Allstott lined up in the staggered eye. McCardell in motion. And here's Johnson moving to his right. Flag is down. Can't find anybody and slides up to the 40-yard line. Covered up by Marcus Washington. Looks to be at the first down marker, but there is a penalty flag thrown.
You know, and what a block by Michael Pittman. We have illegal motion on the Buccaneers, so they're going to take them back. But Michael Pittman played a great block on number 7, Raheem Brock.
Offense. 2 men moving prior to the snap and failing to reset. Still 2nd down.
That block gave Brad Johnson the opportunity to get to the outside, but Michael Pittman starting to come into his own a little bit here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They keep feeding him more and more responsibility. And talking to a couple of the Tampa Bay people before the game, they were telling me how happy they are with his development, and they're finally getting what they thought they were getting when they brought him over from Arizona.
Last season he finished strong. He was bothered by a bad ankle. Most of the year had the big game of the Super Bowl. Here's the play fake by Johnson and throws deep down the left side and overthrows Keyshawn Johnson down at the Indianapolis 40-yard line.
So if you had to draw it up at halftime, Marv, and you were the coach, and you said, okay, boys, We just got our butts whipped pretty good, 21-0. This is what we need to do at the beginning of the second half. First, offense, take it down there, score some points. And secondly, defense, we need to stop. We have to gain the momentum. As you can hear, and I can hear here now, and maybe our fans out there can hear themselves, very quiet here. The fans are out of the game. This is exactly what you want to do when you're the road team.
Yes, this crowd very much into it throughout the first half. It's a third down and 12 now. Tampa Bay from their 28. Short set by Johnson. Throws to the left flat, and the pass is dropped by Carl Williams. So the punting unit will check in, and the Colts will get the ball back.
You know, and how bad has it been for the Colts up to this point? That 32-yard touchdown pass from Manning to Harrison was the first conversion for the Colts on third down. And that's how dominant the Buccaneers were up to that point. But whatever they said at halftime so far, the Colts have responded to it.
Brad Pyatt back at his 20, awaiting this punt from Tom Tupa. Takes the snap at the 15. And off the side of the foot, a line drive played by Pyatt at the 30. He's to the 35. He stutter steps, cuts back the other way as the flag is thrown, and then is driven back. He stopped at the 38-yard line, a 44-yard punt, and a 9-yard return. Todd Yoder on the stop of Williams, and a flag has been tossed.
Yeah, this is going to go against the Colts now, and it's a terrible, terrible. Detron Smith, 42. That's his second big mistake thus far.
Illegal block in the back. Number 42 of the receiving team during the return.
So it is called on Detron Smith. A break of the action brought to you by Nissan, genuine service and parts. Buccaneers 21 and the Colts 7 were urging on the Tampa Bay defensive unit. Ricky Williams in the backfield. Colts start out from their 27 to going from right to left. Tampa Bay 21, Indianapolis 7. Signals called by Manning out of the shotgun. Rolling right, swings it out. He has Clark with some room to run, brings it across the 30, and he's ankle tackled at about the 33-yard line.
You know, the Colts do so many things, Marv. They put Manning in a shotgun. He takes a screen to the left, then he throws the screen back to the right to Clark. And when you have a guy like Peyton Manning, you could do all of those different, looks and personnel groupings.
Picked up 6, a second and 4 from the 33. Again, Williams, the lone setback. The handoff to Williams off the left side, spinning his way, taken down at the 34, and a flag comes flying. Ricky Williams trying to break free, but could not, and again, a penalty flag.
That's going to be a face mask, I believe, on somebody in that interior line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Personal foul, face mask, number 97, defense.
That is Simeon Rice, the right defensive end.
We haven't called his name very often tonight. He has 4 sacks and 1 interception coming into tonight's game. And, he was a guy that was just an unbelievable pickup in free agency. And, the interesting thing, too, is that they're showing the replay here on the big board, and it was not a face mask. This is interesting.
Action for the face mask. The runner was grabbed by the shoulder.
You know what's amazing here? Is that the only reason that the officials knew that is because they saw a replay up on the big screen. There's no way that they should have overturned that. And that's exactly what Tony Dungy is saying on the side. Wait a minute. We don't have replay for that. What are you talking about?
You cannot look up on the... I know you suggested it in the past.
I said, let's look up on the big screen. They got them here. You got millions of dollars invested in these big screens. They're high definition now.
But it would not be consistent around the NFL because many stadiums do not have these.
You're right. Well, all the new stadiums do. Of course, most of the older stadiums don't. But, Tony Dungy is on the sideline right now saying, what is going on? I can just hear him. How can you change that?
John Lynch came over
and said, pointed up to the scoreboard here. So if that was the case, then that's not the right call.
Well, it's a third down and 4. The Colts at their 33. Ricky Williams, the lone setback. Here's Manning on a short set. Throws, and it's complete for a first down up across the 40. Marvin Harrison with the catch, and again, a penalty flag comes flying.
Action snap.
Derek Lynn.
Ball start. Number 78. Offense. Still
That is the left tackle, Tarek Glenn, making his 101st consecutive start, but they bring it back.
And again, they're going after Tim Wansley over there with Marvin Harrison. Very smart of Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. He's been around for a long time, 26 years in the NFL, 6 with Indianapolis. And when he got there and Peyton Manning got there, this offense basically took off. So they obviously made adjustments at halftime that are working.
3rd and 9 out to 28. Wansley playing for the injured starter, Brian Kelly. Here is Manning taking out of a shotgun, faces pressure, swings it out to Ricky Williams. Williams up to the 30, but no more. That's it. He's taken down by the nose tackle, Anthony McFarland, after a gain of 2, and the punting unit will check in for the Colts.
Yeah, bad penalty on Tarek Glenn to move the Colts back. And then, an interesting situation takes place. They call a face mask on 97, Simeon Rice. John Lynch comes in there and says, wait a minute, look up on the big board. That wasn't a face mask. They grabbed him by the shoulder pads, and the officials overturned the call. It's going to be an interesting discussion after the game.
All right, Hunter Smith takes the snap and just does get the punt away from his 15. Carl Williams lets it bounce and takes a good hop for the Colts, rolling across the 20 down to the 15-yard line. A 54-yard punt with that favorable roll. 8:42 to go in the third quarter. Tampa Bay 21, Indianapolis 7. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Third quarter, the Bucs with a 21-7 lead on the Colts, and Tampa Bay has the football. They'll start out from their 15. They are moving from left to right. Michael Pittman is the lone deep back. The quarterback, Brad Johnson, who has been outstanding. The handoff to Pittman off the left side, and just perhaps a half yard, if that. Marcus Washington on the stop. Let's go downstairs to John Dockery. John?
Yes, Marv, I was just thinking about that play, that face mask call that was overturned. Boomer, I don't see how in the world they can look up at the scoreboard and make that change, because then it would be home field. It would be decided by the guys with the play, what they're going to show up there. I think what the officials would have told you is that the second official came in and saw it better and saw it was on the shoulder pad and not the face mask, and that's why they overturned it. Otherwise, it is outrageous.
Well, he did see it better. He got a second chance to look at it at that big screen like everybody else in the stadium, and that's why John Lynch went crazy, and he went in there and he said, you got to be kidding me. That was not the face mask, and he pointed straight up.
That would be the ultimate home field advantage, just to show what you wanted and what favored your team on the big scoreboard.
Well, I'll just tell you, I'm sitting next to the replay booth over here, and, they're all looking at me like, what's going on? And I'm saying that I think that was a play that was seen up on the replay board here in the stadium, and I hope that's not the case, because if that were the case, that would be a terrible thing to have happen to the Colts tonight.
I think the officials would say that they got together and another official saw it a different way, and that's why they overturned it. And you're right about the momentum coming out of the locker room. The Bucs were kind of sauntering around saying, all right, this game is over. Who do we play next week? And they were lethargic. They try to get themselves up on defense artificially by jumping up and down, and the fans try to help them. But right now, the momentum could go either way in this game.
All right, Doc. Roman Oben was shaken up, and he has been taken to the sideline, replaced at left tackle by Terry Jenkins. Second down and 10. Here's Johnson looking to throw. He does to the left side and completes across the 25 to Pittman, and would not go down. Breaks the tackle and brings out to the 35-yard line. A 20-yard pickup as Pittman kept churning away. Now they'll spot it at the 34, and it's a first down for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, they lined up Michael Pittman as a wide receiver out to the left, and he ran a little slant pattern, and to be able to do that, the versatility of Michael Pittman, and you said it, Marv, he picked up his game in that Super Bowl last year against the Raiders, and since that time, he's really become more of a complete player for the Buccaneers.
First down at the 34. Here's Johnson rolling to his right, being chased, going on the run, and completes to Johnson out of midfield. Keyshawn Johnson with the catch for another Buccaneer first down. That's good for 13 yards.
You'll hear us talk a lot about momentum in games, and John Dockery just alluded to it. The Buccaneers came out at halftime figuring that this game was over, And the Colts came out at halftime after making some adjustments and turning up the heat in this game. And then a couple penalties against the Colts have really hurt them in the last few minutes. And now it's up to Brad Johnson and this offensive team of the Buccaneers to get the fans back in the game and start playing again. You know, like you're playing a legitimate football team, which obviously the Colts are.
And apparently Roman Oben is all right. He's back, coming on for Terry Jenkins. Pittman and Allstott in a staggered eye as they line up. Johnson calls signals. Johnson takes, and the play is blown dead as Johnson started to fade back.
Prior to the snap, delay, offense.
You know, Johnson's going over to Johnny Greer right now saying, you know, come on, don't start the down clock so quickly. You know, that's shocking that Johnson would let that happen. I think that had more to do with Roman Oben getting himself off the field and the officials not stopping the clock for an injury.
So it's a 1st and 15 back at the 42-yard line as we come up on 6 minutes remaining in the third. Pittman in the backfield takes the handoff. Big hole on the right side. Hurdles and gets across the 50-yard line. David Thornton on the stop. 9 yards for Michael Pittman, who has had a very strong night. Michael Pittman facing domestic violence charges. The trial set for January 13th. It certainly could affect the Bucs in the postseason. For Pittman, it could be a jail sentence or league suspension or both. And that has been hanging over his head. Now Aaron Stecker has come on, replacing Pittman. 2nd down and 6. Johnson rolling right. Throws a bullet that is incomplete. Tough one to hold on to. Ken Dilger at close range. And Marcus Washington got a piece of it to knock it away.
This is the bootleg that we see. It seems like every team runs this play like 7, 8, 9 times a game. And I know when you have established a running game that you can run just a bunch of different plays off of it. And this is about the 4th time tonight that Brad Johnson and the offense have gone to that. And Marcus Washington was right on Ken Dilger. I mean, you could fool him, you know, only so often. Sooner or later, they're going to start making plays on defense.
Now Thomas Jones in the backfield for the Buccaneers. A 3rd and 6 from midfield. McCardell in motion. Johnson straight back to throw. He jumps over the middle, able to connect with Jones underneath. Jones running to his right is stopped at the 42, right at the marker. Stopped by David Thornton. Yet another tackle for Thornton. And another 1st down for the Buccaneers.
And a nice play by Jones as he comes out of the backfield. Brad Johnson hits him, about 2-3 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then he makes the run and lowers his shoulders and splits the defenders to make a 1st down. You know, coaches love that when they see their running backs coming out of the backfield and lowering their shoulders and making a play for a 1st down. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Got 9 tackles for the outside linebacker, David Thornton. 1st down at the Indianapolis 42, and a timeout is called now by the Colts.
Ooh, I don't like that. I hate timeouts in the middle of games like this, and I don't know why the Colts would call timeout here. I mean, these are the types of things that come back to hurt you later on in the game. You know, Marv, I sit here all night long talking about tactical move maneuvers and strategy and all that kind of stuff, and then guys go and blow timeouts for stupid reasons, and those timeouts end up coming back to haunt you, especially your offense, late in the game.
Looked like Marcus Washington was shaken up.
I mean, if you're shaken up, go down on the ground as if you're hurt. You can't just call timeout to stop the game. You know, that's the same thing Roman Oben did to his team. He got hurt. It was kind of like, you know, walking off the field, and all the coaches will tell you, get down. You know, because you create other sorts of problems, and some of those lead to either timeouts or unfortunate penalties.
Now we're set to resume. 1st down for Tampa Bay at the Colt 42. They line up in the eye. Here is Johnson rolling right. Throws, completes to Allstott. Allstott ramming his way across the 30 for 1st down and refuses to go down. Penalty marker is thrown. There were 4 Colt players trying to bring Allstott down. They had him stacked up, but he would not go down. 17 yards on the pass play and a penalty flag.
Yet again, another bootleg, and yet again, the Indianapolis Colts defense, especially the defensive line, you know, loses contain. You know, these guys are so hungry to make a tackle in the backfield that sometimes they forget what their assignments
Personal
are.
foul, unnecessary roughness, number 72 of the offense. The first down was made. We'll penalize them there. First down.
You heard Johnny Greer, so the play holds. Roman Oben apparently upset with the way his teammate Mike Allstott was being handled by the Colts with a late hit call for the personal foul.
Well, you know, you can always go down. You know, Mike Allstott, as you said, did not want to go down. There were about 4 or 5 Colts all over him. He practically ran right over Walt Harris. Now, Walt Harris is only 190 pounds. You know, and Allstott goes at 250. You know, and I know exactly what Roman Oben was doing. He was trying to help his offensive player gain some more yards and was trying to pick a defensive player off, but he hit him out of bounds.
It is a first down at the Colt 40-yard line. Pittman in the backfield takes the handoff off right side with a burst. He's to the 35, down to the 33-yard line. Again, it's Thornton on the tackle, 7 yards for Michael Pittman, and the Buccaneers very much back into it after the lethargy that we saw the earlier part of this third quarter. They were particularly impressive, Boomer, when you consider they came off a bye week. When you take a look at how they played in the first half.
Yeah, and you know, but again, they have that great defense, and at home, you know, when the start of the game gets going, there's a lot of emotion and a lot of noise in this building, and that defense basically feeds off of it.
Second down and 2 at the Colt 32. The handoff to Pittman, finds an opening, breaks to the left, gets outside, gets inside the 20, has a first down, and some more. The right corner, Nick Hopper, up to make the stop. 17-yard run by Pittman, and a beautiful block by McCardell, who has been a major factor here tonight. So Pittman has now carried 13 times for 87 yards. And it's a first down for the Buccaneers at the Colt 15-yard line.
And he's becoming that all-purpose back that John Gruden loves. You know, the Charlie Garner in Oakland that he had. You know, he loved him out of the backfield, loved to hand it to him. And they're trying to find a guy like that. And that's why they brought Pittman in here. And he has really taken to that role finally.
They line up in the eye. Stecker has come on for Pittman. The handoff to Stecker. Tries the middle, and he's turned back. A loss on the play. Stecker had no running room. Marcus Washington with the wraps on Aaron Stecker. Loss of a yard on the play. It'll be a second and 11 at the 16 with 2.5 remaining in this third quarter. The Buccaneers looking to make it a record of 3 up and 1 down. Last week, as I mentioned, they had the bye. 2 weeks ago, beat the Falcons handily in Atlanta, won in Philly in the opening Monday night game, and lost at home to Carolina in a wild one in overtime. Here's Johnson taking the snap, back to throw, throwing end zone, and it is incomplete. The pass intended for the tight end Todd Yoder, but a flag is down.
And this is going to be, I believe, it could be pass interference on the Buccaneers. It looked like there was a little pushing and shoving going downfield. Yeah, and that's what it's going to be. And interesting that they call it on the Buccaneers down here. Usually you'll see defensive holding or defensive pass interference in tight quarters, but you know, give credit to the
pass interference. Number 80, offense. Still second down.
And that is Yoder. Give credit to the secondary of the Colts for staying physical with these bigger receivers on the Buccaneers.
Todd Yoder playing against his hometown team. He grew up in Indiana, his 4th season out of Vanderbilt, but a penalty that has cost the Buccaneers. It'll be a second and 21 back at the 26. So both the Colts and the Bucs have hit for 8 penalties. Now empty backfield for the Buccaneers. They go with the 4 wideouts. Johnson takes. He's back to throw. Looking. Throws to the right side. Oh, it's caught, and what a hit as Reggie Barlow made the catch and was able to hold on, and he's hearing it from the crowd as he was walloped.
I'll tell you what, that time Walt Harris was in his cover 2 position as a cornerback at the line of scrimmage, playing on the outside receiver. Barlow was the inside receiver. He went up, he stopped about 10 yards deep, and Harris and Doss read the play perfectly and just absolutely drilled Barlow did Harris. He came right at him, and Barlow did exactly what he was supposed to do. Just hold on to the ball and get to the sideline and catch your breath over there.
He picked up 11 on the play. This is the 12th play of this drive, a 3rd and 10 at the 15, and a timeout again is called by the Colts with 1 minute and 20 remaining in this third quarter, so they're down to 1 timeout remaining.
And that's because defensive linemen don't know where to line up now. Oh, my goodness.
It's Tampa Bay 21, Indianapolis 7. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Second of 3 regular season appearances for Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football. They'll be here for the Giants November 24th. We'll be on hand for that one. Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champions, with an impressive performance thus far tonight. They lead the Colts 21-7. They have a 3rd and 10 at the Indianapolis 15. Here's Johnson looking to throws end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Touchdown. Keenan McCardell able to keep his feet inbound at the near side of the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the night.
It's an absolutely terrible play by left cornerback Walt Harris. He was one-on-one with Keenan McCardell. You cannot allow McCardell to get that wide open in the back of the end zone right along the right sideline. I mean, he just runs up and runs really a comeback. I mean, there's not much room to do much else. And Walt Harris gave him way too much of a cushion, and McCardell laid a beautiful move on him. And Brad Johnson threw the ball perfectly to the outside for only McCardell to make the catch with.
15-yard touchdown pass play. Here's the try for the extra point by Gramatica. It's put down, and the kick is good. Keenan McCardell, signed as a free agent from Jacksonville last year, had 61 catches, 6 touchdowns, and that is 4th touchdown of the season. Another red zone touchdown, and with that TD, Milwaukee Electric Tool makes another donation to Habitat for Humanity. Milwaukee Electric Tool. Look for the red zone at your local distributor hardware store or home center. So the Buccaneers extend the lead 28-7 over the Colts. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Back in Tampa, Martin Gramatica getting set to kick it off. The deep man is Brad Pyatt. Here comes Gramatica. And the line drive kick played by Pyatt at the 1. He's to the 5, 10, straight ahead 15, 20, angles to the left, and then he is hit hard out at the 25-yard line. Corey Ivy has played very well on special teams, making the stop. The 23-yard return, so the Colts get it back with 1 minute 6 remaining in this third quarter. The Tampa Bay drive, 12 plays, 85 yards, and Boomer, they had the ball for 7 minutes and 22 seconds.
You know, we always talk about it. Does the defense get tired for staying out on the field? And then you say, yes, they do. And then everybody says, you know, why doesn't the offense get tired? Well, the offense has positive plays. The defense has negative plays. So it's just as much mentally as it is physically for the defense.
Dominic Rhodes, the lone deep-back for the Colts. Here's Manning on the play fake, throwing to the center of the field. At midfield, he has Pollard down to the 45 in Tampa Bay territory, and then taken down. Marcus Pollard was wide open. Ryan Neese on the tackle, and that's a 30-yard pickup.
And the reason he was wide open is they had that cover 2 defense, and who's responsible for the middle? Well, that's Nate Webster, the middle linebacker. And what a great fake it was to Williams to pull Nate Webster out of his position, and it gave Pollard an opportunity to hit the void in the defense right behind him.
First down at the Tampa Bay 45-yard line. Here's the handoff to Rhodes, and he's hit back behind the line. Greg Spires was right on it, showing his quickness with the wraps on Dominic Rhodes. Indianapolis doing a lot of shuffling in the backfield. Edgerrin James sitting out for a second straight week with a sore back. We saw much of Ricky Williams, James Mungro, and now Dominic Rhodes getting the call. With final seconds of the third quarter, the Colts line up for a 2nd and 14 at midfield. Manning takes the snap. The time has run out. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Buccaneers 28, the Colts 7. You're listening to today with at least 1 sack in 63 straight games. The record held by Dallas, 68 straight between 1976 and 1980. Manning back to throw on first down. I should say second down. He throws. It is caught at the near side, but caught out of bounds, and a penalty marker is down. Marvin Harrison, the receiver, if it holds up, it's an 11-yard pickup.
It's going to hold up. It's going to be defensive offside. Now the question is do you want 1st and 5 or do you want 2nd? Let me see what it is. Well, actually, that was 2nd there. Excuse me. Do you want to do it over again or do you want 3rd and 3?
Offside.
And they're going to take 3rd and 3.
94, defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So here's the situation. It could have been 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 3, and the Colts will like to go with 3rd and 3. I agree with them. Now Peyton Manning now is 17 for 22, Marv. He actually has some pretty good numbers. No interceptions. 1 touchdown. Their defense has not been able to get off the field, though. And they got down to an early 14-0 deficit. It's been very difficult for Peyton to establish any rhythm on offense.
3rd down and 3. Out of the shotgun, Manning takes. Manning with a quick pop over the middle, able to go underneath and connects with the tight end. Clark spinning his way, has a 1st down as he battles to get inside the 30-yard line. John Lynch, the strong safety, on the tackle, and Dallas Clark goes for 12 yards. Does a good job working the middle of the field. Rookie from Iowa, 1st round draft pick, who is now the 2nd tight end behind Marcus Pollard, and it's a 1st down at the Tampa Bay 26. Ricky Williams, the lone deep back. Here's Manning taking the snap, throwing again underneath. Has Williams. Williams inside the 20, gets to the 16-yard line where he's ankle tackled by the strong side linebacker Ryan Neese.
And Peyton Manning continues to work the middle of the field because they're trying to send Marcus Pollard up the top to take Nate Webster out of the middle. If Peyton Manning continues to have this kind of time, then he can just drop the ball off right over the middle where Nate Webster has left from, and he's done that time and again tonight.
Another 1st down for the Colts, just outside the 15, a long count by Manning. Takes it, Manning with a short set, now throws to the left side. He has a man wide open down at the 5. It's Wayne, gets inside the 5, and has another Indianapolis 1st down. Reggie Wayne with the catch for 11 more, stopped by Rondé Barber, and the Colts with a 1st and goal from just inside the 4-yard line.
Well, you know, I talked about it before the game. If they could withstand the pressure to give Peyton Manning time, he could have some success down the field. And this offensive line, with the exception of a few bad penalties, have done a really, really nice job of protecting for Peyton Manning.
Now Manning making the adjustments at the line. He has Ricky Williams in the backfield, 1st and goal, down at the 3-yard line. Manning takes the handoff to Williams, drives straight ahead. He's to the goal line. No indication as of yet.
They're going to say he's on a 1 foot line. This is exactly where they're going to place it. And the ball crossed the plane of the goal, but they're going to say his knee was down before he got there. Nice tough run by Williams. You know, and I was telling you earlier in the night, I think where you have to try to run against the Buccaneer defense when they're in their normal defense is in between the tackles.
It'll be a 2nd and goal from inside the 1. Williams and Smith in the backfield. Handoff to Williams, straight ahead, touchdown, but a flag is thrown over at the far side of the field. Ricky Williams, behind the big push from his offensive line, was able to take it in.
And again, defensive offside, so forget this. This is going to be
offside.
Touchdown's going to count.
Defense, line up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. The touchdown is good.
So it is another red zone touchdown, and with that touchdown, Milwaukee Electric Tool makes another donation to Habitat for Humanity. Milwaukee Electric Tool. Look for the red zone at your local distributor, hardware store, or home center.
What happened to the defense in the second half? It's gone.
Here's Mike Vanderjagt for the extra point. It's placed down. The kick is good. Plenty of time remaining. 12 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. It's the Buccaneers 28 and the Colts 14. This is Westwood One's coverage of the National Football League.
Why would you want to do that when you can watch CBS?
You know, people
I
are
probably
watching
can't
both.
do that. I'm probably not supposed to do that. I'm sorry.
Wait a second. Do you not watch games on Fox? Please.
I can't divulge that kind of information. Get ready.
All right, they line up. Vanderjagt was getting ready to kick off, and the Colts shifted to the right as if an onside kick might developing a little chicanery, and immediately the Bucs took a timeout.
I mean, well, I don't know why people do this. I mean, I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. And then, tomorrow, if in fact that play would have been pulled off by the Colts, and then somebody in the special teams meeting probably would have said, why didn't you just call timeout? You had a timeout there. So I guess better to be safe than sorry, but another wasted timeout.
And while we have an opportunity, let's check in with our sideline reporter, John Dockery, brought to you by Consort Hair Care for Men, guaranteed to give you great hold. Let's go to John.
Thank you, Marv. Pleasure to chat with you.
I was wondering if you were still here.
I am still here, and yes, of course, I'm still here. You're talking about the ebb and flow of the game. I think that the Tampa Bay Buc defense, you're talking about where'd they go. They might have let down figuring that last drive by the Bucs offense, that long drive for the touchdown, was the knockout punch. But to Indianapolis' credit, they did not die, they did not give up, and maybe it's because Tony Dungy's returning home. Maybe it's because they're a different team, and they're 4-0, and they want to get respectability in the league.
I agree with you, John. I think it's because they do want to have respect in the league, and they do want to, show that they have, some moxie to them.
Once again, an unusual lineup, but Vanderjagt does kick it away, and Carl Williams takes it to 10. He's to the 15. He's to the 20. Here's to the left, and he's ridden out of bounds at the 24-yard line, bumped out by David McClinney. A 13-yard return. A very odd lineup by both teams on the return. Carl Williams was by himself.
Yeah, how about
the 10?
The Indianapolis Colts move everybody to the right side as we have a buck down on the ground. Everybody to the right side of the kicking formation. Yet Vanderjagt kicks it right down the center of the field. And what does Carl Williams do? He runs to the left, which means that he is running to everybody on the Indianapolis right side. I don't know why he didn't run up the right sideline. There was one player over there.
Buccaneer player is down at the near side. It's Michael Pittman, who apparently was one of the upmen of that new alignment for Tampa Bay, protecting against the onside kick. And Pittman is hurt, is being helped to his feet. Now hearing it from the crowd, looks to be all right. There's a timeout. 11:54 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Bucs 28, Colts 14. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Marv, where do you think you go for authentic sideline gear? Because I know you want some. All you have to do is log on to NFL Shop on NFL.com or call 1-877-NFL-SHOP for your free team catalog. You get the gear that you need, Marv.
Thanks, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
Bucs first down from the 24-yard line, and here is the handoff to Stecker. Stecker off the left side on the slant, gets out to the 29, met by the left defensive end, Larry Triplett, a pickup of 6 on the play. Brad Johnson, 20 of 30, 273 yards, thrown for 3 touchdowns. He was intercepted once, but that turned into a touchdown off the fumble by the strong safety Mike Doss, recovered by Keenan McCardell, and he took it in from 57 yards out, one of McCardell's 3 touchdowns on the night. Now here's Pittman, who was shaken up a moment ago, back on the field, replacing Stecker. So Allstott in front of Pittman. Pittman the deep back of the eye. Johnson takes the give to Pittman off the left side, finds a hole, gets to the 35, and has a first down. Washington and Morris combined to make the tackle.
You talk about time of possession in this game right now. 27 minutes and counting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Indianapolis at about 21 minutes. And now you're talking about a physical presence by Michael Pittman that has really been able to move the pile and make a difference running the football. Something that John Gruden has just got to be extremely happy about.
Pittman has run for 93 yards. First down at the 35-yard line. Again, they come out on the eye. Pittman is the deep back. Here's the fake, and then Pittman takes the handoff and gets to the 40-yard line, going straight ahead. He was met by Chad Bratsky and make the stop. Once again, let's go downstairs. Here's John Dockery.
Thank you, Marv. The game within the game, one of the concerns for the Buck offense coming in was their left tackle, Roman Oben, against the Dwight Freeney and Chad Bratsky combination on that side. They were concerned about them having too much speed, but all day long I've been watching Oben, and he's done a great job on both those guys. Yes, he's had a little help at time with the tight end, and the backs have chipped a little bit, but most of all, it's been the left tackle, Roman Oben, handling the defensive linemen for the Colts.
All right, Doc, second down and 5. Colts trailing in this game 28-14. Again, the handoff to Pittman. Straight ahead has another first down, and he's hit the 100-yard mark. David Thornton with the tackle. Pittman has carried it 16 times, 107 yards.
And I mean, running with power, too. I mean, right up the middle, just flying through there, 100 miles an hour, 106 yards, 6.6 average, and he's already got 4 receptions as well. So picking up right where he left off after last game against the Atlanta Falcons. And, you know, again, I can't even begin to tell you how happy this has got to make John Gruden feel to watch him run like the way he's running tonight.
Now, Aaron Stecker has come on for Michael Pittman. Stecker is the lone deep back. And the handoff to Stecker off right guard and gets across the 50 to the 48 in Indianapolis territory. Larry Triplett on the stop. 3 yards on the play for Aaron Stecker, a guy who has shown big play potential. Averaged 6 yards a carry last season in his 4th NFL campaign out of Weston, Illinois. It'll be a second down and 7. The ball is spotted at the 49. Tampa Bay just looking to run this clock down. 8:20 remaining in the 4th. They lead it 28-14. Now Jameel Cook in the backfield along with Aaron Stecker. Again, they line up in the eye, and the handoff to Stecker off left guard and picks up perhaps a yard on the play.
And you can see he doesn't hit the hole quite like Franco Pittman does, and you know, he's trying, but he's going down with that first tackle, that first hit, where Michael Pittman is making guys miss with first contact. You know, it's kind of interesting. There's always this debate. Do you rest your guys? Don't you rest your guys? Yesterday, Tiki Barber was taken out of the game in some very significant situations for the Giants. You know, Jim Fossil was somewhat criticized for that. And, you know, he's criticized for not taking him out of the game. And Ricky Williams carries it 100 times, and he's criticized. Wannstedt's criticized. I mean, these guys want the ball. Keep them in the game. If they want it, give it to them.
Once again, the lone deep back is Cook. Here's Johnson stepping up to Cook, can't find anybody, and then runs it and slides to the 45, covered up by Washington. 3 yards on that play, short of the first down, so the punting unit will come on as we approach 7 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Tom Tufa on the field to punt it away to Brad Pyatt. Pyatt is back at his 10. Tufa will punt from his 40-yard line. Tufa with his 4th punt of the night. Signals being called, and the snap taken by Tufa. Looks to angle it to the far side. Pyatt comes over to make the catch. Fair catch at the 15-yard line. 30-yard punt, and the Colts back to the offense with 6:42 to go in the 4th quarter, and Tampa Bay leading 28-14. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. The Colts will start out from their 16-yard line. Manning had the spectacular game last week back in his hometown in New Orleans. 20 of 25, 6 touchdown passes. The numbers are certainly, they look good here tonight, but has not been able to get much going. Here's play action by Manning. Manning able to stand in the pocket and then throws underneath. He's able to complete to Williams. Penalty flag is down. Williams gets up to the 27. Boomer, you look at the stats. He's 21 of 26, 200 yards. But the Colts offense has not been able to generate much against this terrific Tampa Bay defensive unit.
And the offense just committed another penalty, holding.
Holding, 64, offense. Still first down.
That's the left guard, Rick DeMullen, called on the hold.
You know, Marv, the other thing that's kind of amazing is that Peyton Manning, you know, hasn't been sacked, as you've been saying throughout the night, and this offensive line pretty much has done a nice job protecting him.
All right, 1st and 18 up the 9. Now Manning in trouble, and down he goes. He is sacked by Ellis Wims. For Wims, his first sack of the season, and for the Buccaneers, it is their first sack of the night, and the streak continues. That is now 64 straight games that dates back to 1999 with at least 1 sack. So they're 4 games off the NFL record held by the Dallas Cowboys. It'll be a 2nd and 23. The ball is on the 3. Manning is back in the end zone out of the shotgun, takes a low snap, throws on the screen. He completes to Williams, running to his right, gets to the 10, and he's taken down. Picked up about 7 on the play. Warren Sapp able to make the stop.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I guess I spoke a little bit too soon, but now all of a sudden you got a little bit of, altercation on the sideline. It looks like it was between Jeff Saturday, the center, and John Lynch, the strong safety. And I'll tell you that at this point, I mean, with the noise the way it is, and to get into the fisticuffs and the altercations, all you're doing is inciting the defense and the local fans, as you can hear them now, back into the game.
It's a 3rd and 15 from the 11, and Manning in trouble, able to get it away. It is picked off by Barber. He's down to the 20. He's to the 15, picking up a blocker. He's to the 10, and he's in for the touchdown. Barber on the interception of Peyton Manning. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have taken a 34-14 lead on the Indianapolis Colts.
You know, Peyton Manning really has no other choice but to try to force the issue in this situation. He is stepping up in the pocket as the heat started to become a little bit closer to him in this last series, and Marvin Harrison is trying to go down the middle against that cover 2 defense. Rondé Barber's in there inside as a nickel in replace of a linebacker, so his responsibility is the deep middle, and that's really where the ball was thrown. He makes a nice break on it. And one of the more opportunistic defensive backs in all of the NFL runs it back in for a touchdown.
He took it 29 yards for the score. Here is Martin Gramatica for the extra point. Signals being called. Here's the snap, the put down, and the kick is right through. 5:09 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Buccaneers in a thoroughly impressive performance here at home against the Colts, who had come in at 4-0. Buccaneers now lead at 35-14. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Well, this capacity crowd here in Tampa, better than 65,000, has certainly enjoyed what has taken place here tonight. It has not been a happy 48th birthday for Tony Dungy, the one-time head coach of the Buccaneers. His Colts are down now 35-14 as Gramatica gets set to kick off. The deep man is Brad Hyatt. Gramatica looking to make sure his teammates are onside, and now here is the approach and the kick. It is high, it is deep. Played by Hyatt in the end zone. He moves it out to the 10, 15, accelerates, 20, 25, 30. He's to the 40, breaks a tackle. He might go all the way. He's down to the 30. It's a foot race to the 20, and he's caught from behind down at the 12-yard line. He was caught in a race.
And I mean, there were some great blocks right up in there. And then he has to make Martin Gramatica miss, and then he has to make another guy miss. And I'll tell you, it was a foot race.
Brad Pye looking to pull a Dante Hall.
Yeah,
went 87 yards.
Well, he doesn't have the speed that Dante Hall has, but Jermaine Phillips has it because he caught up after getting blocked as Pyatt ran past him.
Colts first down at the Buck 12. Mungro in the backfield. Here's Manning to throw. Throws over the middle, and it's off the mark. Incomplete, intended for Mungro. Down at the 10-yard line. Right here, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is CBS Radio Sports and Westwood One, your home from Monday Night Football.
Once a Flyer, always a Flyer. I am Dan Patrick. Listen weekdays at 1 o'clock for Dayton references. Can't do a show without them. On 1410 ESPN Radio.
Buccaneers are hearing the chant of defense. 2nd and 10 for Indianapolis at the Tampa Bay 12-yard line. Long count by Manning. The handoff to Mungro off left guard and able to pull his way inside the 10-yard line. Went for 3. He was met by Chartrick Darby. Came up with the stop.
You know, even the best quarterbacks get a little bit jilted when they're back there in the pocket. And I think the last series kind of got to Peyton a little bit. That last throw to Mungro over the middle was behind him, and he looked like he was a little bit nervous in the pocket. So he's got to calm down and sit back and deliver the ball, and it's got to be accurate down here. You got to throw it into tight spaces, and you got to be on time with it.
3rd and 7 at the 9. Wayne is to the left. Harrison to the right. Short set by Manning. He throws a bullet that is complete inside the 5. It's caught by Troy Walters, his first catch of the night. It's right at the marker. Good for 6. And it looks to be a first down. Let's see where they spot it.
It looks to me about an inch or two short, Marv. And they're going to measure right here. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You have to go for it. Down 35-14.
Down to 3:52 remaining in this fourth quarter. Good eyes, Boomer. You are correct.
You know, if I could see it from up here, why can't they see it from down there?
Well, that's when it's that close. You want to check it out.
Now, you know what it's all about, Mark.
Yeah. Are you saying
network face
camera time?
Yep.
Okay. All right, it'll be 4th. And inches. They're measuring again at the center of the field. They measured over to the near side. They're checking it out.
I want to make sure that the ball is placed in the right spot.
The Colts huddled up at their 10. Now led to the line by the center, Jeff Saturday.
Great place for a play action right here.
Smith and Mungro in the backfield lined up in the eye. Manning takes the handoff to Mungro straight ahead, and the Colts say he is in, and it is a touchdown. He got the ball over the plane of the goal line, so James Mungro with his first touchdown of the season. Ran it in from 3 yards away. Mungro in his second year out of Syracuse, originally signed as a free agent with Detroit, was waived and signed with the Colts. So it's now 35-20, and here is Vanderjagt on for the extra point. The snap placed down, and the kick is good. 3:37 remaining now in this fourth quarter. 4 plays, 12 yards for the touchdown. It was set up by the terrific kickoff return by Brad Pyatt, who went for 87 yards on the return. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
Don't miss all the NFL excitement on CBS this Sunday when the Denver Broncos host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
All right, Vanderjagt getting set to try the onside. He does. He sends a little pop fly that it appeared it was recovered by the Colts out at the 44-yard line. Looked like Breeze Bashir.
Oh, man, and he got up and got it, Marv, and this was a great execution by Vanderjagt, who pops the ball into the ground, and it goes up literally about 20 feet in the air, and Bashir goes up like he's rebounding in a basketball game and comes down with it. I've never seen this was actually a little pooch kick. You know, really, technically, it seems to me that the Buccaneers could have called for a fair catch, and they didn't do it.
So 3:36 remaining in this fourth quarter, and here's Manning throwing to the left flat, and he completes. He has Troy Walters, and a penalty marker is down, so the Colts able to recover on the onside kick. They're down here 35-21.
And Marvin, that's exactly what that was. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but Vanderjagt actually pops the ball up.
97, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. First down.
Simeon Rice called on the penalty.
I saw the replay. It is exactly how I saw it. It was actually a kickoff by Vanderjagt that traveled only about 10 to 12 yards, but in the air 20 feet. They could have called for a fair catch if they wanted to.
All right, first down from the 43. Manning back to throw. He fires. He completes right near the marker. He has Marvin Harrison. He was stopped by Tim Wansley. Went for 11 and a first down for the Colts, who are very much alive as we come up on 3 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Indianapolis quickly to the line. Here's Manning out of the shotgun. Swings it out to the right side. He has Williams, and he runs it out of bounds. Made the catch and runs it out just outside the 30-yard line.
I got to stand up for this now. You know, I usually see, you see great plays every week, but that last play pulled off by Vanderjagt, the kicker, to be able to kick the ball that high and that short and not have the Buccaneers call for a fair catch and his guy to go down and get it right in the air was an amazing play.
Second and 10 from the 31. Again, Manning out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, throws over the middle, and completes to Harrison, but the play was blown dead. A flag at the line of scrimmage.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 78, offense. Still second down.
Once again, it's on the left tackle, Carrick Glenn.
And remember, they're going with a silent snap count at the line of scrimmage, and Tarek Glenn is trying to anticipate the snap from Jeff Saturday, the center. And he's assuming that when Saturday is lifting his head, he's going to snap the ball. And Glenn is trying to get a good kick start to get out there to stop Simeon Rice.
All right, here's Manning out of the gun. He takes the snap. He throws. Able to complete over the middle at the 28-yard line to Ricky Williams, who went down as he made the catch. That's a pickup of 8 yards. It'll set up a third down and 7 at the 28. We're just under 3 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Manning takes. Manning looking. Manning throws. It is incomplete. Down at the 15-yard line. The pass intended for the tight end Dallas Clark, and it brings up a 4th and 7 at the 28.
If Peyton Manning would just look at Reggie Wayne wide to the left side of the field, if he'll pump it in the middle and throw it to Reggie Wayne out on the left side of the field, he might have him wide open. The last couple times, Wayne was left uncovered.
Now James Mungrove checks back in. He and Williams in the backfield. Colts to the line. It's a 4th down and 7. You hear the crowd urging the Tampa Bay defense on. Out of the shotgun. Manning takes. Drifts way back. Manning throwing for the end zone. He has Harrison. Touchdown! Marvin Harrison on a 28-yard pass play from Peyton Manning. And the Colts trail 35-27.
You know, there's a lot of pointing fingers going on right now back in the secondary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Derek Brooks talking to Tim Wansley. Who got who? You have this place. I'm supposed to be over here. And again, it goes back to the fact that the Buccaneers unable to put pressure on Manning. 2:29, and now the Colts have a chance to pull within 7 points with this extra point.
All right, Vanderjagt will attempt the extra point. His onside kick successful, set up this touchdown drive. Manning is now 26 of 33. Here's the snap. It's placed down, and the kick is good. 2 minutes, 29 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Colts hang in. The Bucs now lead 35-28. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football.
Coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they get their first win. He says it's more about joy, more about relief than it is joy. You have to give it to his rookie quarterback in his second start. 19 of 28, 336 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the young Byron Leftwich. So he's our Amtrak Player of the Week.
Let's see how the Colts play it here. Tampa Bay with White Smith, the single safety, and again the onside kick, a scramble for the loose ball. This time he put it on the ground. The Colts feel that they have it.
And this was not your typical type of onside kick, Marv. They're giving it to the Buccaneers, and they are lucky that he had the ball at the bottom. What they did is they lined up in a bunch, then scrambled, and Vanderjagt kicked it right down the middle of the field and hit a Buccaneer player. I think that was Aaron Stecker, hit off his chest, and he somehow fell on the football. Actually, it hits Derek Brooks right in the chest. Excuse me, the ball is out, and I'm telling you, the Colts have it. And then right at the bottom of the pile, somebody pulls it out, and it looks like Aaron Stecker. I have no idea how the Colts do not come up with that football. That was 2 great onside kick attempts by Vanderjagt with 2 different looks.
I think the Bucs will be having onside kick drills a little bit more intensely during the course of this week. So Tampa Bay first down at the Indianapolis 45. They line up in the eye of the handoff to Stecker. He's off the right side. He stopped at the line.
But you know the problem here for the Indianapolis Colts, remember earlier in the half, in the third quarter, they actually used 2 of their timeouts, and now they're going to use their third one here before we get to the 2-minute warning.
When we come back, it'll be a 2nd and 11 for Tampa Bay at the Indianapolis 46. 2:22 to go in the fourth. 35-28. Bucs over the Colts. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Back to Tampa, the Bucs to the line quickly. Here's a pitch to Stecker running to his right, and he is stopped. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. The middle linebacker, Rob Morris, able to make the tackle. It'll be a third and about 12. And we have reached the 2-minute warning, brought to you by LiftMaster, the world's #1 professionally installed garage door opener made by Chamberlain. Looks like there was a flag on the play before we break for commercial.
As the officials kind of huddle at midfield here. You know, the interesting thing, Marv, is remember the Buccaneers lost their only game of the year this year to the Carolina Panthers, and it was all on special teams. Remember those 3 block kicks? And one coming at the end of the game for the extra point to win the game.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 67 of the offense. The foul is after the play. We will penalize 15 yards from the dead ball spot. That's the 2-minute warning.
Well, that's the right tackle. Kenyatta Walker called for that personal foul. We'll take a break now. It's the Bucs 35, the Colts 28. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the NFL on Westwood One. Back on the clock, although Johnny Greer, the referee, did announce that it was the 2-minute warning, but it is not. It's 2 minutes and 4 seconds remaining now in this fourth quarter.
And why is that important? Because they're going to run a play right here, assuming that they don't make a first down. The clock will stop to stop it for the 2-minute warning, as opposed to running a play at the 2-minute warning where they could have taken it all the way down inside of 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that's an important, play right there on behalf of the Indianapolis Colts. And give the Colts a lot of credit because they're the ones on the sidelines that were telling the officials that penalty came before the 2-minute warning. And Johnny Greer, to his credit, added 4 seconds on the clock. So a nice job by the officials there getting that straightened out. But that could have been a huge play going against the Indianapolis Colts.
And the Bucs are looking at a 3rd and 27 back at their 38 by virtue of that personal foul on the right tackle, Kenyatta Walker. Now here are the Bucs to the line.
The only thing that starts for the Buccaneers is that they can throw it here.
All right, Johnson on a draw with a handoff to Stecker. Now looks to get to the outside, runs it to the 45, gets near midfield. And now we officially receive word that there are 2 minutes, actually a minute 59 to be precise, remaining in this fourth quarter. 11 yards on the run by Stecker. It's the Buccaneers 35 and the Colts 28. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Tampa Bay had a 28-7 lead on Indianapolis going to the fourth quarter. It is now a 7-point game. A minute 59 remaining on the fourth. 4th and 16 from midfield for the Bucs, and the punting unit will check in Tom Tupa, dropping back to punt from his 35-yard line, and Brad Pyatt is the deep man. You'll recall that Pyatt, with that 87-yard return earlier this fourth quarter, signals being called, long count, and the snap taken by Tupa, and he once again angles it to the far side. Pyatt lets it fly by. Penalty marker is down as it bounces inside the 15-yard line. So a 36-yard punt, but there is a flag on the play.
You know, early in the game, they called holding on the Indianapolis Colts at the line of scrimmage, which enabled the Buccaneers to get a first down. This will be interesting to see whether or not this is the same call.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 42,
they did it again.
Defense. Holding, number 27, offense. The penalty's offset. Replay 4th down.
All right, Detron Smith and Aaron Stecker.
Yeah, and what Detron Smith is doing in the middle, he is pulling an offensive player for the Buccaneers out of his lane to create a seam for a rusher to get back there to the punter, Tom Tupa. And this is the second time he's done this tonight. And, you know, that could have been just an absolutely horrendous call had it not been for the holding on the Buccaneers side as well.
Oh. Once again, they line up with Tupa waiting for the snap at his 35 and Pyatt for the Colts back at the 10-yard line. And here it is. Tupa takes it, and the punt Lofts it, played by Hyatt. Fair catch called for at the 15-yard line, a 35-yard punt. And here comes Peyton Manning, who has been able to spark the Colts to a 21-7 edge over the Bucs here in the fourth quarter. Manning overall is 27 of 35, 274 yards. And Boomer 16 of 20 in the second half for Manning.
Yeah, one of those incompletions was an interception by Rondé Barber, returned for a touchdown that actually gave the Buccaneers their 35th point. So you're looking at one of the game's best quarterbacks playing against the game's best defense in a 2-minute drill at the end of a Monday Night Football game. It doesn't get any better than this.
Manning and the Colts starting from the 15 out of the shotgun. Manning takes, he pumps, and then throws it away. He saw his receivers were well covered. Ricky Williams was in the area as the screen was developed, but it'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
And Warren Sapp smelled the screen out and stood right next to Ricky Williams, and Peyton Manning, just threw it into the ground, so it's given another shot. As you can hear, what is remaining of what was once a capacity crowd here. I would say about 1/3 of the people have left.
2nd and 10 from the 15, again from the gun. Manning takes. Manning with a quick release. He completes at the 25 to Troy Walters. It is an Indianapolis first down. It's a pickup of 11 with a minute 28 remaining in this fourth quarter, and a flag has been thrown.
It's going to be roughing the passer on Warren Sapp, so they're going to add 15 yards onto this. And you talk about collapsing at the end of a game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not finished off this football team.
Number 99, defense. First down.
A couple of things I think we're finding out here tonight, Marv. Number one is maybe the Bucs aren't as invincible as everybody thinks they are, especially on defense. And number two, the Indianapolis Colts have shown us something we haven't seen from them in a while, and that's mental toughness to stay in a game like this.
Now first down from the 41. Again out of the shotgun. Manning takes. He steps up. He throws deep down the right side. Here's Harrison down to the 15. He's to the 10. And he's tackled from behind. Inside the 10 by Tim Wansley. Once again, Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. The clock is running. That's good for 53 yards. As we come up on 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter, the Colts with a 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. They're to the line. Here's Manning with the handoff. Ricky Williams off the left side gets down to the 1-yard line.
Unbelievable. The Colts are going to stay right at the line of scrimmage. Marv, we talked about halftime adjustments. What did the Colts do? They went right to Marvin Harrison over Tim Wansley. Remember, he's replacing Brian Kelly.
All right, 2nd and goal for the 1. Again, the handoff to Williams off the left side. He drives forward. He's in for the touchdown, but a flag has been tossed.
Defensive offside. Touchdown's going to stay. The Colts are 1 point away from tying this game. And you talk about halftime adjustments. Give Tony Dungy and his crew.
Offside, 31. Defense is declined. The touchdown is good.
That's that Tim Wansley, who's had a rough second half. Give Tony Dungy and his coaching staff a great deal of credit for those halftime adjustments and going after the weakness in the defense. And unfortunately for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 10 guys can be doing their job. If one makes a mistake, unfortunately, they're going to pay for it.
And here is Mike Vanderjagt to attempt the extra point. The holder is the punter, Hunter Smith. The snapper is Justin Snow. It's placed down, and the kick is up. It is good. A remarkable comeback by the Indianapolis Colts with 35 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The game is tied at 35.
Now, what an amazing comeback this. And remember, the Colts have done this without their timeouts, literally. They got a couple bad penalties on the offense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A great onside kick. Really, 2 of them that they should have both gotten them. And just an inept offensive performance here the last few times the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had the ball.
Once again, let's check in with John Dockery. Doug?
Yes, boy, it's a shock down here on the Buccaneers sidelines. And as you mentioned, the fact that Brian Kelly was injured, has made a huge difference right after Wansley. But I can't understand, if you're a defensive back in that situation, how in the world can you allow a receiver to get behind you? You just can't do it. And that's more bad news for the Bucs. Keyshawn Johnson apparently is injured and probably will not play. I'll try to get an update on that. But he's along the sidelines and appears to be hurt, and I'll get you an update.
All right, thanks, John. The numbers now on Peyton Manning, 29 for 38, 350 38 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. How about Marvin Harrison? 10 catches, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Last week against the Saints, 6 catches, 3 touchdowns for Harrison. And part of the story here today, the onside kick by Vander Jagd.
One of the most amazing onside kicks I've ever seen. That, just to reiterate what that was, is he actually popped it up and kicked it about 15 yards at 20 feet high, and his teammate was able to come down with it.
And now Vander Jagd puts it on the ground on the hop play by Stecker at the 8, moves it ahead to the 15, 20, kicks his way, cuts to his left, picks up a blocker, and then is spun around, and down he goes at the 32, picks up 24 on the play. Marcus Pollard involved on the tackle, and 26 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter.
And 2 timeouts for the Buccaneers. As exciting as it was to watch Peyton Manning move down the field, Brad Johnson, you remember, a 12-year vet, Super Bowl quarterback. He knows what's going on. He can use the middle of the field. He's going to go into his 2-minute offense and see if he can get Martin Gramatica close enough to attempt maybe a 45 to 50-yard field goal, maybe a little bit longer than that.
All right, from the 32, Johnson takes. He's back to throws to the middle of the field. It is caught by Dilger, and a timeout is called as he makes the catch at the 44, and it's a first down for Tampa Bay. Picked up 11 on the play. Timeout called with 20 seconds remaining in regulation. Let's go back downstairs to Doc.
I'll tell you what, there's Doc screaming. What happens? Yelling at somebody down there? But, you talk about having another timeout here, 20 seconds. Brad Johnson again can work the middle of the field, and he can work it down a little bit further and still be able to call timeout and give Gramatica a chance for a long attempt at a field goal. So, the Colts defense has got to be really careful here. They can't be too soft, but yet they can't be overly aggressive.
The Bucs from their 43-yard line with 20 seconds remaining. They have a split backfield. Here's Johnson looking to throw, running to his right, throws to the far side, completes to Jones, who races to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
And the official kept the clock running. I don't understand that. That was a horrible call by the official. Jones clearly running to the sideline, and he gets tripped up before he gets there, but his knee hits out of bounds. And that official kept the clock running.
They should have put 3 seconds on the clock. Instead of 13 seconds remaining, it's 10 seconds. And when we resume as the timeout was taken, Tampa Bay will have the ball at midfield. All right, we'll try again. Let's go to John Dockery.
I'm here. I was just trying to find out about Keyshawn Johnson, who was in the tunnel, by the tunnel in street clothes. And I get information now that he has a slight thigh bruise, and obviously if he's in street clothes, he's not back in the game. So that's the story on Keyshawn. One less weapon for the Tampa Bay offense.
Again, I can't, I cannot believe the official called Jones inbounds when he went down to force the Buccaneers to use their final timeout.
All right, Tampa Bay to the line at midfield. Johnson is back to throw. Johnson throws sideline. He completes to Dilger. He looks to get out of bounds. He does with 3 seconds remaining in regulation. Let's see where they spot it out of bounds.
It looks like it's going to be on the 43-yard line, Marv.
So this will be as Martin Gramatica comes on. Remember, he attempted a 60-yarder and was way off earlier.
Now, why don't the Colts drop somebody back to try to run it back just in case he shanks it?
This will be a 62-yard attempt looking for the win. Signals being called. Gramatica awaits the snap. Here it is. It's placed down, and the kick is deflected. It was blocked, and we will go to overtime. So that's the end of regulation. A miraculous come-from-behind effort by the Indianapolis Colts against this vaunted Tampa Bay defense, but Tampa Bay gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter. The Colts outscored the Bucs 28-7 in the fourth.
And that is remarkable. Remember, a great return on one kickoff gave them great field position. Also, Barber picks off Peyton Manning and returns it for a touchdown. You think the game is over right there, but Peyton Manning, you can say what you want about the guy, the only quarterback ever to have 4 consecutive seasons of 4,000 yards, and he catches a lot of heat when his team...
Overtime, fourth quarter, rules apply. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. Replay is controlled by the replay official. All right, I've got heads and tails. Who's going to call it? Call it because tails. He calls tails. It is the heads. Tampa wants the ball.
Peyton Manning made the call, very disappointed.
Yeah, you know, and the thing about I was saying about Peyton Manning is that he catches a lot of heat because they got drilled in New York last year, threw a lot of interceptions the year before, and he's always been a guy who has been a stand-up guy. He always steps up in front of the microphone whether they win or lose, talking to a couple of the PR people from the Indianapolis Colts. You know, they couldn't say they couldn't have asked for a better representative of their franchise in their city, and he has shown tonight that he is. I think he's really in tune with what's going on now in Indianapolis, more so than I've ever seen him, really. I mean, he looks good. And remember, Edgerrin James is not in the game.
How about the Colts over 300 yards in the second half against this Tampa Bay defensive unit?
You know, the interesting thing is that, remember, both of these teams are playing Tony Dungy's cover 2 defense that, you know, everybody was hoping to emulate in the league. And unfortunately, sometimes you don't have the players to run the schemes. But 10 TDs and over 800 yards of offense. That's pretty wild. 408 yards of offense for Tampa Bay. Indianapolis 390, so almost 800. And then you're talking about, I mean, you take a look at some of these numbers. It's remarkable. Brad Johnson, 20 of 30, 273 yards, 3 TDs. Peyton Manning, 29 of 38. 338 yards and 2 TDs.
Many of the folks who left Raymond James Stadium a bit early and are listening on the radio are, I'm sure, unhappy about the fact that they gave up on this game.
Well, I'm just hoping they keep going home so we can get out of here, because traffic around here is awful. You know that, Marv. Even though our hotel is very close. 5 minutes
away from the stadium.
Yeah, and it takes you 45 minutes to get there.
We're on to overtime. Game tied at 35, and the Bucs will receive. They're now going with Reggie Barlow as the deep man. And Mike Vanderjagt will kick it off.
You talk about the Colts' second half possessions. 7 of them, 5 TDs, 1 interception. That was returned for a TD for the Buccaneers, and 1 punt. Wow. I was about to say, you know, here's another 4-0 team biting at dust and being brought down to earth. But even if the Colts lose this game, I think that they get on that plane going home saying, you know what? We had this one. We had the Super Bowl champs on the rope, and we scored 35 points on them if they lose it. And they could feel pretty good about where they are. You know, you're not going to win every game in the NFL. And going on the road and winning, especially against the Super Bowl champs in their home city, very difficult to do on Monday night, Marv. And I'm not big for moral victories, but I think they can gain some self-respect and probably some newfound respect around the league.
Well, this is a Colts team that was trailing 28-7 entering the fourth quarter. And they turned it around and came up with the tying score once again on Peyton Manning hooking up with Marvin Harrison to set it up, and then Ricky Williams took it over from a yard out to tie the game with 35 seconds remaining in regulation. Now the Colts line up for the kickoff. Here comes Vanderjagt, and the kick is straight away taken by Barlow at the goal line. He's to the 5, straight ahead 10, angles to the right, out to the 20, breaks the tackle, brings across the 25-yard line. A good return by Barlow. Corey Bird on the stop, and the Buccaneers will start out from they'll place it at the 30-yard line.
You know what the biggest play of the game might have been tonight? Might have been the personal foul on Kenyatta Walker right before the 2-minute warning against the Buccaneers. And I'll explain that in a moment.
All right, Thomas Jones in the backfield now for the Bucs. And here's Johnson taking the snap, and then dumps it off to the far side. He has Cook out to the 32, 33-yard line. Jameel Cook, who has been spelling Mike Allstott, who came into tonight with a sore neck, was stopped by David Thornton. Pickup of 3. It'll be a 2nd and 7 at the 33.
And Marv, you remember right at the almost the 2-minute mark of the fourth quarter when they were getting ready to stop the clock, Kenyatta Walker took a stupid penalty on the sideline that stopped the clock from going to 2 minutes, and it forced the Buccaneers to run a play on 3rd down before the 2-minute warning.
2nd and 7. Here's Johnson running out of the pocket. Did not look up, was not looking for a receiver. Brings to the 35-yard line. Rager on the tackle. 2 yards on the play for Doug Johnson. 12th year out of Florida State. Spent 7 years with Minnesota, 2 years with Washington. This is 3rd year with Tampa Bay, a guy who makes excellent decisions under pressure. He's had an outstanding game. 3rd down and 5 from the 35-yard line with a minute and a half gone by in overtime. They line up in an offset eye. Play action. Here's Johnson throwing to the left flat and completes for the first down. He has Keenan McCardell. And that's a pickup of 8 yards.
Yeah, that was a nice throw. A little play action fake in the backfield. And Johnson had to sit there and throw it as Raheem Brock was diving at his ankles. And he delivered a strike right to McCardell. And, you know, I told you there's so many little plays in a game that lead to, you know, the victory or the loss. And depending on who loses this game tonight, there are going to be some coaches just so frustrated with some of the plays that their players made at the most inopportune time.
Bucs have a first down from their 45-yard line. McCardell in motion. And now here's Johnson throwing to McCardell on a quick square route. Makes the catch and then steps out of bounds as Walt Harris able to bump him out. 6-yard advance. It'll be a 2nd down and 4 at the 49.
Remember, in overtime, it's first team to get down and kick the field goal to win the game, and it's over. And I'm looking at Peyton Manning on the sideline, just hoping that he gets another opportunity. And I have a feeling on the other sideline, the defense of the Buccaneers is hoping that they don't have to see him again.
Bucs line up in the eye with Cook in front of Jones. McCardell in motion. Here's Johnson with the pitch. He has Jones. Tried to pick up a blocker, could not. And maybe a yard on the play. Tripped up by Rob Morris, the middle linebacker. It'll be a 3rd and about a yard and a half.
You think about the way the Buccaneers had this game in total control, and now all of a sudden they have to try to restart their engines and get the energy going back again. And the defense has been fighting uphill the whole fourth quarter, and the offense really hasn't helped much. It's a huge 3rd down play right here for the offense of the Buccaneers to see if they can keep this momentum going.
The line of scrimmage, the Colt 47, 3rd and a yard. They line up in the eye. Here's Johnson back to throw. Johnson throwing deep down the left side. It is incomplete over the head of McCardell down at the 20-yard line.
You talk about being well coached. I'll tell you right there, the Indianapolis Colts did not bite on the fake in the backfield. They covered all of their receivers downfield. 3-man flood out to the left side of Brad Johnson. Nowhere to throw the football. And give the Colts defense a lot of credit for mustering up the energy. And I think a lot of that energy has come from the fact that they feel like they're going to win this football game.
And now Tom Tupa has come on for the 6th time. He's back at his 37. Brad Pyatt awaits the punt at the 10. A high snap. Tupa takes. And a floater, angled to the right side, bounces across the 20-yard line, but we have a penalty marker down right next to the punter, Tom Tupa. And Johnny Greer about ready to tell us about it.
Running into the kicker, number 33 of the defense, first down.
Dominic Rhodes, the backup running back, called for running into the kicker. 11th penalty assessed on the Colts, and that is a huge call.
And remember, running into the kicker 5 yards, and it was 4th and about 3, so automatic first down because of that. And another mistake on behalf of the special teams of the Colts that have actually played reasonably well for most of the night. And, you know, I don't know how many chances you can give your opponent. Just an absolutely bonehead mistake by Rhodes.
And a first down for the Bucs at the Colt 43. Thomas Jones in the backfield. Michael Pittman, remember, was shaken up earlier in the fourth quarter, so he's not in there. The handoff to Jones gets to the 40 off the left side. Stopped by Marcus Washington. 2-yard advance. Let's go downstairs to Don.
And the reason Marbury's not in there as Michael Pittman, running back, is he's got stomach cramps. Aaron Stecker, his backup at running back, has a sprained knee. Keyshawn Johnson is out with a thigh bruise. And, they're just depleted on offense.
Stomach cramps. Get them a Rolaids. Let's go. we're in overtime. Stomach cramps.
All right, so Thomas Jones remains in the backfield alone. Deep back, second down, and 8 at the Colt 41. Johnson takes the snap. Johnson throwing to the far side, and is incomplete, intended for McCardell inside the 25-yard line. That'll bring up a third down and 8.
And Allstott's not playing. I mean, you got all kinds of situations going on here. I mean, I understand that you might not feel well during a game, but Michael Pittman's had a hell of a game tonight, and for stomach cramps, I've never heard of that. That better be appendicitis on the sideline. You want to keep yourself out of the ball game. And this is where you make your money right here.
Third and 8 at the Indianapolis 41. Johnson takes. He's back to throw. He steps up. Can't find anybody. Now lofts it and overthrows McCardell at the 20-yard line.
And he could have had McCardell. I know what he was trying to do. McCardell was tied up with number 27, David Macklin, right in the middle of the field. And as Brad Johnson was stepping up, eluding the pass rush, he was just going to try to throw it over McCardell's head and see if he can go and get it. And I don't think they were on the same page. But, you talk about those guys that are out injured, and you just got to suck it up and get out there and play. That's just the expectations that your teammates have of you and your teammates. And your coaches.
So Tom Tupa has come in. He'll punt from his 45. Brad Pyatt back at his 10 in single safety. The punt is a floater again by Tupa. Looks to angle it, and he does. It bounces out of bounds at the far side at the 13-yard line. A 28-yard punt, but did not allow the run back. Good punt by Tupa, and the Colts will start out from their 13 with 4.5 gone by in overtime. The game is tied at 35 at 1 point. Going into the fourth quarter, the Buccaneers appear to have this one put away. They were leading 28-7, and the Colts came roaring back. All right, here are the Colts to the line, led by their center, Jeff Saturday. The running back is Ricky Williams. Peyton Manning has been on fire. Let's see how he handles it here. Signals being called. Manning takes. Play action. Manning throws a screen, and it's knocked down. It was knocked down by Warren Sapp, who was putting the pressure on.
And a flag comes in late, and I think they're going to say this could be illegal touching, because I think Manning might have hit his own offensive lineman with the football. So we'll see what happens. I'm just assuming that this is the case, because that flag came in so late.
There is no infraction for illegal touch. The ball was tipped.
Yep, it was. The official thought it was an illegal touch, but he did not see the fact that the ball was tipped as it came out of Peyton Manning's hand.
It'll be a 2nd and 10 from the 13. Colts line up the same way. Ricky Williams is the long deep back. And Manning orchestrating at the line. He takes the handoff. Williams, big hole, straight ahead, gets across the 15 to the 17-yard line, met by the combination of Nate Webster and Derek Brooks. Picked up 5. Boomer, we've been talking about this amazing comeback by the Colts, and we're told that no team has ever come back from 21 points or more with less than 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. No team in the history of the NFL.
We're seeing history, Marv.
Third down.
I'm sharing it with you.
3rd and 6 from the 17. Manning out of the shotgun. Manning takes the snap. Manning throws a bullet, and a diving catch made for a first down out at the 25 by Harrison. That's a pickup of 8, and they move the chains. First down for the Colts at the 25-yard line.
The interesting thing is I look out on the field, I'm looking for Tim Wansley, who doesn't seem to be on the field. He's the cornerback that came in to replace Brian Kelly, who got hurt earlier in the game, they've actually moved Dwight Smith, the free safety, out the corner to play against Marvin Harrison. I'd be going there.
Dan Williams, the lone setback, play fake. Here's Manning going to the other side. He has the tight end, Clark, in the left flat, but lost a yard on the play. Clark made the catch back behind the line of scrimmage, and it's a loss of 1.
When John Dockery told us that Brian Kelly went out due to injury early in the game, his replacement was Tim Wansley. And Tim Wansley was easily exploited by Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, and that's ultimately what led to the second half comeback. The adjustment at halftime by the Colts going after Wansley.
2nd and 11, the Colts from their 24-yard line, moving from right to left. Out of the gun, Manning takes, avoids the pressure, throws to the far side and overthrows, intended to Harrison out of the 40-yard line.
And then you talk about in-game adjustments by coaches who are on top of their game. And Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator, knows that Wansley's, his confidence is probably in the tank right now. So get him off the field. Don't put him in a situation where he has to cover Marvin Harrison. Let's take Dwight Smith. At least we have some confidence in him, and we'll put him out there, and we'll replace Smith with Jermaine Phillips at safety, and that's exactly what Kiffin has done.
Colts have a 3rd and 11. Out of the shotgun, Manning takes. Manning looking, throws, a leaping catch made for a first down by Reggie Wayne out at the 40 as he split through 2 defenders. That's good for 16. John Lynch, the strong safety, made the stop. A clutch play on the hookup between Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne.
And you want to know why Peyton Manning's a better quarterback this year than any other year in the NFL? Because he's starting to spread the ball around. He's having confidence in his 2nd and 3rd receivers. His security blanket is Marvin Harrison, but he's learning to trust his other players out on the field with him.
32 of 43, 361 yards from Manning. Here's the handoff. Ricky Williams off the right side up to the 45-yard line. Derek Brooks made the stop, picked up 4 on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 6, and a very steady drive here by the Indianapolis Colts. It began back at the 13-yard line. Now James Mungro in the backfield. Manning working out of the shotgun. 7:20 to go in overtime. Here's Manning throwing over the middle. It's through the hands of Harrison. That ball a bit up high, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, now the Colts are trying to run a little bit inside. I say keep it outside, Marv. You got Dwight Smith, who is a free safety. He's moved over to the left corner spot. Jermaine Phillips is a 1-year player out of Georgia. He is back at the free safety. I would work the right side of the field if I were the Colts and try to exploit those 2 safeties over there. Those guys are athletes, but they're not as good as cornerbacks are.
All right, Harrison is split wide to the right, Wayne to the left for the 3rd down and 6. Manning takes, Manning throws over the middle, and a circus catch is made in Tampa Bay territory for a first down. It was Troy Walters who has come on late. That's good for 10. Walters, the 4-year man from Stanford, usually the kick return specialist, came up with a spectacular catch.
Oh, and how good a catch is this? This is right in the middle of the field as Nate Webster, the linebacker, standing right next to him. Derek Brooks coming in there. That's a kick returner mentality. Catch it in the middle between those 2 linebackers.
4th catch for Walters. First down for the Colts at the Buck 47. Here's the play fake by Manning. Looking left, looking deeper, and then has to throw it away. Down at the 30-yard line. Threw over the head of Reggie Wayne, who was well covered by Rondé Barber. So it will be a 2nd down and 10 at the Buck 47.
I'm telling you, if I could get into Peyton Manning's helmet right now, I would say, Rondé Barber's a pretty good cornerback. And he's probably the best one they got back there right now. The other areas where they are hurting is the safety and the other cornerback. And that's both on the right side of the field. That's where you have to exploit. And that's what they were doing earlier. I expect them to go back there.
This is the 11th play of the drive. Signals called by Manning. Here's Manning. Fake handoff. Steps up and throws. Incomplete at the 31. Another beautiful catch by Reggie Wayne. Rondé Barber on the tackle. That's good for 16, and we're talking field goal range now.
Yeah, we are talking field goal range, and you can see everybody's just dragging out there. I mean, this is 6 minutes and counting, 6:10 and counting. And again, this offensive line of the Indianapolis Colts doing a superb job in this second half of protecting for Peyton Manning.
And the Bucs look fatigued. You look at that front four, hunched over between plays. First down at the Bucs 31-yard line. Manning takes the snap and the handoff to Mungro. Try to go wide, try to go to his left, and he is stopped as he gets to the 30-yard line, but Barber was right there.
Well, you know, this is where the Buck defense now has got to get real aggressive, get to the line of scrimmage, see if they can get somebody to fumble the ball or make something happen. You know, the interesting thing is Marvin Harrison is standing out on the right side of the ball, and it's just he and Dwight Smith, and Dwight Smith is off of him about 9 or 10 yards. If they just throw him the ball and throw it right out to Marvin, be an easy pitch and catch. But now they're going to go into their tight offense.
Second down and 9 at the Buck 30. They're lined up in the I. Cook in front of Mungro. Signals called by Manning. Here's the handoff. Mungro on a trap play gets to the 26-yard line. 5 on that to pick up. Just under 5 minutes remaining now in this overtime, and the Bucs and the Colts are tied at 35. It'll be a third down and 4 at the Tampa Bay 25.
Well, you know, it is 1 o'clock in the morning almost. That means it's no longer Tony Dungy's birthday. But wouldn't this be a great birthday present for Tony Dungy to have his team come back and win this one? 48 years old yesterday, Monday.
Now Detron Smith and James Mungro line up in the I. Manning ducks it under. Here's the handoff. Mungro straight ahead. Short of the first down, gets to about the 22-yard line. And here comes the field goal unit looking to put this one away, which would be one of the amazing comebacks in the history of the NFL. Mike Vanderjagt will attempt from 39 or 40.
It'll be right on 40, it looks like, Marvin. The interesting thing about this is it's 4th down. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to take timeout. Now remember, this is 4th down. This is all or nothing. So if it's a bad snap or if it's something wrong, the holder or the kicker's got to get up and run with it and try to throw it. There's no call on timeout. There's no second chances here. That's why, you know, a little bit dicey. Maybe you might want to kick it on 3rd down just in case something happens. But you know, the likelihood of something happening here, you know, in terms of a bad snap or a bad hold is, you know, is remote. But as we know, for those of us who live in New York, it happens.
And this is a 40-yard attempt, his first field goal attempt of the night. Last week had 2 of 2 from 41 and from 42. He's 12 for 12 on the season. He's hit his last 16 going back to last year. The angle will be to the left. The punter, Hunter Smith, will hold. Signals being called. Here's the snap. It is placed down, and the kick is up, and it is no good. Off to the right.
There's a penalty, however, down on the field. This is going to be interesting if this is going to be against the Buccaneers. Look for a roll age moment. Because this will be it if this penalty is against the Buccaneers.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 97, defense, leaping. We have a first down.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Simeon Rice called for the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Now,
I have seen just about everything right now.
Now, does that mean that he tried to launch himself off a teammate?
That's exactly what he's saying. And, you know, John Gruden's sitting there going, what in the world are you talking about? I'm taking a look at he leaps. Doesn't leap off of anybody.
We're looking at the replay. It did not appear that he used a teammate to gain an advantage.
It's the right call, though. It's exactly what they're supposed to be calling, and it doesn't matter, Marv. He takes a running leap and jumps up. You cannot run up, and you cannot jump up and try to block a kick. It's, according to this is going to be an interesting discussion between Johnny Greer and John Gruden.
So off the penalty, it's a first down at the 11, which would mean A 28-29-yard field goal attempt. 3 minutes, 52 seconds to go in overtime. To get out the rule book.
No, you can't run and leap like that, Marv. That's what they're calling Simeon Rice on. And that's what they're saying, and that's what Johnny Greer is saying right now to John Gruden.
Yeah, the discussion continues with the Buccaneers looking for the explanation.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 steps Simeon Rice takes and leaps. And as the coaches and everybody in the stadium sit here and wonder what the rule is, the interesting thing that Johnny Greer should do right now, as I understand it, is you can't run and leap and make a leap. And Johnny Greer should explain it to the fans exactly what the rule is.
And the officials the last couple of seasons have been very good in terms of defining the interpretation.
And I think Johnny Greer is going to do that, and I think he should do that.
Well, apparently not. They're going to play. And here is Vanderjagt looking to conclude matters from 29 yards away. The ball is snapped. It's placed down. The kick is up, and it is good. The Indianapolis Colts have come from behind to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in Tampa, 38-35 in overtime in a remarkable performance. They were down 28-7 going to the fourth quarter, and they win it 38-35. And how about Mike Vanderjagt with the successful onside kick earlier? Nearly had a second successful onside kick, and he is now 13 for 13 on the season.
You know, and he almost misses this attempt. It actually goes to the right, and it banks off the right upright into the middle of the upright. I mean, I've never seen a game like this. This is unbelievable. The words can't describe what just transpired in front of our eyes for the last hour of this football game. What a tremendous game. What a tremendous comeback by the Indianapolis Colts. And what a win for Tony Dungy. And I guess the Colts can be considered for real now?
Well, they're 5-0